violence and other kind of violence.
Guess what? I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's a Black Gen Z mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into the video.
The meth labs and the trailer parks, this is true. We see this stuff within aspects of every community. It can be the Hispanic community, the white community, even the Asian community. I mean, the model
Nobody
minority,
got no meth labs.
they're going to have their own gangs in there too.
Nobody got no meth growing in their house, man.
What we're seeing is society's come to a point where it's going to have to be a war between the burners and the builders, and we need the normies to just pick a side, because if you have a black community and they have a neighborhood watch, they police their own, it's going to be a nice community. If you have a white community and you fill them up with communism, and you see what happens. It ends up with Antifa. They're out looting the shoe stores with the rest of them. It's not a black thing. It's not a white thing. It's a criminal thing. Dissociate ourselves from the criminal, regardless of race, and get rid of them.
That's where you're wrong, bro. It's definitely a black thing. It's definitely a black thing.
There's some accountability. There's got to be some accountability held here, and I get what you're saying. It comes from different races, but we're specifically talking about the blacks right now and what their contributions are in these communities. Contributions in a negative way.
Go ahead, Savage. Let them have it.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about all the looting. When you look at the looting incidents in San Francisco, Los Angeles, and all throughout California, you'll see that the people who are walking in and just taking a handful of what they want out of the Walgreens, out of all these places. That's why they talk about food deserts in the black community, because a lot of times what's happening is these people are going into Walgreens, okay, and looting and taking things out. And now the Walgreens has to shut down because they're losing money. So you complain about food deserts, but then.
So you make the point, though.
Well, the reason. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So you make our point about these black communities, these black neighborhoods, and the behavior of these black people, and why some blacks choose not to be amongst these people, because it's barbaric.
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
Well, if you look at the communities that this is going on in, the one thing that's really causing this worse than anything, and I said this before, it's the cohesion of the black community with the criminal element, where they view it as their culture and their people. You don't see that in the white community, so you don't have to worry about your Walgreens getting looted out of existence. But in the black community, there is a strong desire to protect their own, and their own gets lumped in with the criminals.
No, there isn't, sir.
If you protect
you don't know what
criminals,
you're talking about.
You're going to have a lot of criminals. If you just get them out of there, you don't have it. The reason why
I can't claim this guy
is because of the woke, because of the protecting their own.
You're
you
disturbed.
Saying that black people?
You are disturbed.
How do you figure? How am I disturbed?
Are you saying that black people are?
Can we let Red Savage talk? CT, this guy's been holding his hand up in the air for 10 minutes.
Go ahead, Savage. So some of the things that you're saying are true, but there's an overlap. So you're gonna have crime in all groups. It's just like you're always gonna have tall people and short people. There's always gonna be some level of balance there. But poverty itself is not tied to crime. The poorest county in the United States is in West Virginia and does not have near the crime rate that any inner city has. Okay. Also, in liberal cities, you have between entitlement, victimhood, and when you have people that believe that they're owed something, you're going to have more, and poverty, you're going to have more of a likelihood of people actually committing crimes to do stuff. Because out in the country, you have thieves and stuff, but you have people that understand they have to work to live. So you don't have that same entitlement. You don't have that same victimhood that you have going on. So that's the difference. There's a class situation and there's a racial element to it. It's an overlap.
Red, that's not a racial element. If you go out to West Virginia, and you go out there, do you think any West Virginian that's not a criminal is going to look at a West Virginian criminal and say, that's one of mine?
No, what I'm telling you, the racial element is you have a large group of people that live in cities that either feel that they're being discriminated against, they're being held back. You're going to have this entitlement thing, okay? Then you're going to have the people that also are criminals and they don't want to judge.
See, that's where we get into victimizing, and we got to stop doing that. Just because you live in a certain environment doesn't mean that you have to go out and have certain behaviors, be a criminal. You always have an option of getting out of that circumstance. See, yeah, you make a great point, but at the same time, you're lending your excuses to people in these negative behaviors, and that's, we can't do that.
I'm not excusing the behavior, but what I'm telling you is it's multiple facets. It's not poverty, it's not race. It's between a mindset, because the reason that the oppression of Black people matters with the race is because you're not going to have that same thought or that same mentality from another group. So that is a part of the racial part that I'm saying, but it's also the mind state that you have in these areas and people allowing or feeling that they're owed something, which comes with entitlement, which can go from it to any race. That was my point. It's multifaceted. It's not just like one thing, was the point.
Well,
fair enough.
The Black community at one point had the fastest growing middle class in America. They had the strongest marriages in America. They were the up and comers. And there was one difference between now and then, and that was we got rid of the criminals. If we get rid of the criminals, people thrive. If you let criminals exist, if you don't weed the garden, it destroys the garden.
It's not uncomfortable.
That makes my earlier, like I said earlier, what happened with these strong Black family systems is what happened is that the parents they aged out and they left the responsibility to their children that are still out here on drugs that didn't have any positive direction with their life. So you've created an environment that you don't even leave a legacy, no generational wealth. You haven't done anything with this opportunity that your parents gave to you. You get what I'm saying? And so what we have here is a neighborhood that was once a flourishing neighborhood, that was a thriving neighborhood, and it's come to be a mess.
But
no, the reason hold on, excuse me. One of the reasons why we have this like dysfunction and high level of crime, it's directly correlated with the rate of single motherhood in the Black community. When you have 75 to 80% of young Black kids growing up in single parent households, then that creates a whole culture of dysfunction, and it leaves you vulnerable and susceptible to so many other different negative factors in life. It increases the rate that you will drop out of high school. It increases the rate that you'll perpetuate that same thing. It also increases the rate of you going to prison and doing time. So
all right, you got to stop there now, because that's not facts.
Yeah, you stop interrupting, man.
85% of the prison population comes from single parent households, so it's absolutely a fact.
What about the families from single parent households that the guy's the president, he's a senator, she's a doctor? What about those families?
So those are the exceptions. That's not the rule. So if I said yes, the exception. So if I said 90% of men are, I say whatever, taller than 5'4", and then you say, oh, well, what about the 4'11" guy? You're making an exception, but that's not the rule. Most men are taller than 5'4". They're not 4'11". So, that's a bad faith argument.
These are excuses for men and women, whether you come from a single family household or both parents in the household. It doesn't matter how many parents you have. It matters who you are as a person.
Absolutely matters.
Going to grow up.
You're going to have a better outcome if you have a father. Period.
You're wrong. Yeah. Actually, yes. Actually, it's not even a single.
One at a time. Go ahead.
Let me just get this in. I actually was saying it's not even the fact that it's single parent household, because actually single father households are almost on par with nuclear family structured households. It's single mother households because a woman can inflict discipline on their young children, especially a young man. I mean, let's keep it a buck. A 12-year-old boy will beat the brakes off of a grown woman. So she can't inflict that discipline. So she can't tell him, hey, come in at when the street lights come off. Don't be running the streets, because especially a lot of these young black men are in the streets. You have the number one cause of death for young black men is gun violence. And these are not young black men, but teens, preteens. This is the number one cause of death. So I mean, you have these guys who are in the streets who, a lot of times they might even inflict fear into their own mothers. OK, I've done stories on my channel where, people have taken out their family and all types of stuff. So a lot of this has to do with the fact that the woman just can't discipline these young boys. They can't.
Sir, were you raised by your mother?
I was raised in a nuclear family.
Okay, sir. All I'm saying is the number one cause of death in all adolescents is gun violence in every nationality, not just black.
The number one cause.
That's not true. That's not true.
That's a lie.
That's not true.
That's a lie.
This is a,
Yeah, we can
this
look
is
that up right
common
now.
sense. If you are raised in a single parent household, usually whoever that single parent is, most of the time it's the mother. She has to work more than one job. If she is not there to instill values in the child, then who is? If you are not raising your child, the streets will. Usually in a two-parent household, if one parent is gone, one parent is there, or both parents are there. So the kid is less likely to get away with things than they would be if it was just one parent around. Or if the child is being raised by a grandparent that's much older, that doesn't have the energy to really discipline the kids. That's what you see a lot of the time. When it comes to the littering issue, that can be attributed to a lot of children. A lot of times you see kids, high school kids, they litter, they go to McDonald's. We were all in high school before. High school kids litter, middle school kids litter, they eat candy, they just throw it on the ground. We just don't bring it up because a lot of those kids, they litter in places where there's street cleaning. But when it comes to homeless people, drug addicts, when they litter in places to where they're not going to be seen because they don't want to be seen using drugs. So their litter, it compounds on and it piles up. You see it in San Francisco. You see it under the freeways in Oakland. You see it in Sacramento. You're seeing it in San Jose. A lot of times these cities, they have to make special units. They pay these people $100,000 just to go around and pick up syringes and clean poop and clean up these places right off the streets in San Francisco. That's how much they're paying these people to do this.
Flex Henry, so are you saying that throughout America in any black community, the littering is primarily caused by children?
No, a large part of it is children. A large part.
Okay, so what out of 100, what would be the percentage?
I would say it's about 40%. The 60% of the rest of them is drug addicts.
The Steel Reserve, Mad Dog 2020s, that's all kids too, or
No.
Okay, I was making
kids
sure.
Like you said, you go to McDonald's, you eat a McDonald's, you just drop it on the ground.
Yeah, I mean,
let me read this super chat real quick. Let me read this super chat real quick. Big Time with a $10 super chat. Big Time. Also email me. Flex.
You gotta stop, bro.
Flex. Hold on for a second. Big Time with the $10 super chat says Michigan State is trying to hire more men to be teachers from a certain group. I wonder why. Maybe because women cannot control certain kids in the schools. Big Time. I'm actually gonna do a story about that because I believe that black men, especially because that's what they want, should demand $250,000 starting off. Absolutely. They want men. Absolutely. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Black. Go ahead, Gen
Yeah,
Z.
I was just gonna say. So littering is a direct reflection of your lack of respect for your community. Point blank. I mean, you can say, "Oh
Exactly.
yeah," hold on, but you could say like, "Oh yeah, well, it's just kids doing it and stuff like that." And yes, I agree. Kids are probably not as aware of their carbon footprint as adults are. But let's not act like these grown men are not hanging outside of the gas station all day long, smoking blunts and then throwing the blunt papers on the ground so that the birds can come pick them up and choke on them. So like it's direct disrespect for your community. It means that because I don't own this, I don't respect it. And I'm not going to keep it clean because it ain't mine. It's somebody else's. And that is the issue when it comes to littering, because we don't own anything. So we treat other people's things like it's trash.
Absolutely. And when the person that's supposed to be at home that teaches those values, they're coming from a single parent household, so they don't care. There's no one there to teach them, like, look, you need to clean this up.
Yeah.
That's not my job to clean. You know, it's really the garbage men's job to clean. You know what I mean? I live in one of the richest neighborhoods in my city. And you know what I do with my trash when I'm done with it? If I'm driving, I toss it right out the window. You know why? Because it ain't my problem. That's what you pay your taxes for. It's for the garbage men.
I don't have any respect for your community.
That's right. I don't care. You know why? Okay. I wasn't born around here, and I wasn't raised around here, and I don't care.
Then admit that you're part of the problem, and you know
I'm not part of the problem if I don't see it as
part of the problem, because you know you are a part of the problem.
Maybe it's your job to clean up the trash. It ain't my job.
Black Gen. Hold on, brother. Black Gen, listen for a minute. Black Gen, listen for a second. Do not argue with 777. His main goal is to disturb and cause chaos.
Go ahead, Gary.
No, I get that, but this is a teachable moment, and this is a point
or the truth.
No, I mean, it's a teachable moment for younger guys, because if you don't have respect for your community, then you are not going to have any stake in seeing it prosper. So maybe you move to a town that you didn't grow up in and you don't have respect for that town. But guess what? Guess what? I, as a man, have respect for the sanitation workers. And guess what? I'm going to do all in my power to make their jobs easier. Okay. I'm not just going to disregard it and say, oh, well, that's his job. Just like I'm not going to go out and kill people and try and get away with it and be like, oh, well, that's just the police job. They just got to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? And that's too much what we do in the black community with the no snitching rule and all the street code junk. It's like,
thank you. I was just about to say that.
Yeah,
that no snitching, some bull crap.
Go ahead, Black Rick.
I was just about to say that. I agree with you. That whole no snitching, it ain't my shit. I ain't got to worry about it. They don't take care of their homes. They don't take care of they won't take care of the inside of their house, but they'll have a stack of Air Jordans in their house. They won't even cut their grass. You know you around some inner city blacks when they steps is painted white. The niggas will paint their steps. I'm home right now. I'll go across the street. And I could go a block away and show you some. You know where they at. And you're right. You're right, my man. They don't respect anything. They don't, because they don't think about it. They don't think about where their trash is going. You think a nigga's thinking about where his recycling's going? He don't care.
Black Rick, why do they paint their stairs?
Because I have no fucking idea.
You gotta watch the
language.
My apologies.
Black Rick, is it possible that if you were sitting on the stairs, would they paint you too?
Yeah, paint right over you. You've seen what they do in their houses. They'll paint over the outlet. They'll paint over wires. They just don't think that deeply about it. They don't, man. It's
hey, Black Rick, you know you're in the ghetto when they paint the like the stones in front of the house too.
They'll paint the stones. They'll paint a natural. They would paint a emerald. They can have. They'll paint marble. They will paint marble. They will have marble steps. If you took some inner city blacks, took it back into time in the ancient Rome, they'd paint the Pantheon white. And you right. I love you, Black.
Would they paint the Colosseum of Rome?
They painted red. They painted something stupid like pink or purple. Some old weird color that doesn't naturally fit in with anything. And then say, I'm trying to be unique. This is why they give their kids such ghetto names. DeQuisha, Obamanisha, Felicia, DeQ, DeJron, and all this other.
I gotta read the super chat, but I do gotta ask you a question after this. Big Time with the $5 super chat says Black Crickets is another name for change your damn fire alarm batteries. Black Rick, I do gotta ask you a question. And Big Time, please email me too. Black Rick, a gentleman earlier just said that Flex Henry just said that, and I think Flex was trolling, but I don't know. He said that 40% of litter is caused by children in the Black community. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I've seen it. Oh, and well, yeah. See, that's a tough one because I've seen both children and adults do it because they don't care about their environment that they're in.
Yeah.
It's a deeply seated cultural thing. You know, I went to South Korea for half a year. Like, okay, I'm exaggerating. I was there for like a month and a half. But even when you went into their ghettos, were clean. You could tell it was a poor neighborhood, but it was still clean. It is just a respect of it's this group mentality. Like, even if I'm at the bottom, I'm going to do the best that I can do to keep my area clean and to maintain myself to the best of my ability. Here, they're living filth, man. That's not to say that I know there's systemic problems that are at play here, but until we fix the culture, even when you uplift them and put them in the nice neighborhoods, they carry on with that ghetto crap. Chaotic, I know you've seen those videos of the inner city blacks fighting in some suburban neighborhood. M-bomb this, M-bomb that, come out your house. I know you've seen it.
I have, unfortunately. Audrey says they even paint the tree trunks.
They'll paint the tree trunks, and then at the base of the tree, instead of putting down mulch, digging around it and putting down a bed of flowers, they'll put those white toxic rocks that when you pick up, the cocaine dust comes off of them. Why? Why do they do it?
Well, those are marble rocks, though.
No, they're not. Those aren't marble rocks, man.
I mean, there are marble rocks.
Well, those are regular gravel rocks that they covered in baby powder, man. And then they put that shit. They'll line it around their house. They'll line it around, and they think it looks good.
Or like the milk carts, the things you turn upside down and sit on. They have them out there. It's just a mess. It's just a mess. But it's not to poke fun of them, because some people, that's just their way of life. That's just their way of living. So we're shedding light on these things. So it's not to try to make fun of them too much. But yeah, we've all seen it.
Yeah, I have acknowledged that there is a systemic problem that does hold a lot of people back. But there is a difference when I go into your house. You got a 70-inch TV. You got 20 pairs of Jordans. You got a Gucci bag. I don't know if baby fat's still popular, but that was popular when I was a young man. But They got the baby fat bags. They got their hair done. I've sent you some photos of it, man, where they'll be dressed up in an outfit that's like $900. In the backdrop, you see a dilapidated garage. The roof caved in. And I just think, I don't want to say anything because I know they'll kill me. But I'm like, why don't you just put that much effort into resurfacing your driveway?
Hey, Black Rick, you sound like you're talking about Southeast Side Chicago.
I mean, I've seen it everywhere, but look, that's not the point. I digress. They don't maintain and take care of anything except for their wardrobe.
So basically, in a nutshell, Scott Adams is correct.
Who?
Scott Adams, the creator of Dilbert. This is what the whole show is about. Scott Adams.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, he's absolutely right. What did he say? He didn't want to be around them, or live around them, or something. Yeah, I know. I concur. I concur. Let me tell you something, Chaotic. You would be safer around the KKK, because at least then there's a small slither of chance that you could make some sense and break through. Them inner cities, they'd kill you in a heartbeat. They'd shoot you for looking at you. They'd shoot you for bumping into them. They'd shoot you for stepping on their shoes.
Gary with the $20 super chat says, for the show, bro, you know you have a problem when your community celebrate a coming home party for someone coming from jail. No celebration for someone graduating college. Is that true, Black Rick?
Absolutely. And it what's sad about that is they would celebrate that over kids graduating from high school. They'd celebrate that over a friend of mine got, when I was in high school, there was it was not a charter school. They were called something else back then. It's not there anymore. It used to be off of Inglewood somewhere, I think, but it was like a magnet school. And one of the kids from my school his grades were so, he was doing so well that he got approved to transfer the following semester. Would you know that these inner city bastards beat him up at the end of the year? They jumped him.
This was South Shore High School, right?
Yeah, that sounds familiar. I don't know, man. It was back in the 90s, but it wasn't a charter school. It was like a magnet school. And it had this
south side of Chicago.
I don't remember, man. But he got look, I'll tell you what I do remember. They whooped his butt right after school, and he just made up some stuff like, "Oh man, you think you better than us now because you leave." They got mad. He got out the hood, and they beat him up.
Yeah, that sounds about par for the
course.
Jay Rillo with the $2 super chat says, "Why does Black Rick sound like Be Brave and Think?" I didn't pick that from him, but let me see. Gary, what's up, man? Go ahead, Gary.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
It's funny, man. Like we try to make excuses for all these people. There's just some bad people. There was inner cities back in the day, and they never looked like this. Black Gen had it perfect. The problem is single mothers. I don't know why everybody's afraid to say that. Any neighborhood where you have too many women raising children becomes violent and dirty. Most of these inner cities, I'd say 80 to 90% of these people are living in single mother household. When Black Gen gave you guys the stat that 85% of all criminals come out of these households, Mr. 777 says, what about the one there? Yeah, we know 15% make it. But when you flip the script and say two-parent household, it's the opposite. 85% of them make it, and 15% of them end up in the jail. Single fathers is 83%. So the difference of having a single parent with a man there, it's 2%. Without a man there, is 80%. So we already know what the problem is. It's just single mothers. All this stems from these kids littering. You go into these people's homes, it looks the same as the street. They don't clean their homes. How is these kids supposed to learn how to pick up paper when they don't do it at home?
Yep. I'm here on the corner of MLK and Frederick Douglass, where a shooting just took place. And as you can see, it's a pretty rough area. So I'm basically risking my life reporting on this madness. So make sure you do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Like the video, hell, share the video. And make sure you go ahead and leave a comment down in the comments section to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this son violence in the streets. I'm Jenquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
That's all.
Yeah, it's called home training, and we've gotten away from that in the community. I mean, you go on TikTok, you go on Twitter, and you see a lot of these single mothers listening to music that's labeled parental advisory with, you know, toddlers, infants. What type of example are you setting for that child that you're showing them this level of vulgarity at a very young age? And this helps to like perpetuate the negative culture and the violence. I always say that we're living in an op culture because all these young dudes, they're just running around manufacturing and creating enemies out of thin air when they really don't have to. You know, if they just focus on school, if they focus on their grades and whatnot, and just, you know, being a good kid, then they would, you know, they would get by. But the issue is we've popularized being a thug, and we've popularized dysfunction, and we popularized like what's cool to us is being hood. That's why you got so many sisters who came out and said, oh, Michael B. Jordan is corny, this, that, and the third, because he was doing the right thing.
Okay,
they
so
call him corny because he's doing the right thing.
Sound like what I'm gathering from you and Gary is that it's the black woman's fault that these neighborhoods are the way that they are, because they're raising these children by themselves because of the absentee father taking no accountability, black man, that the black father probably left that household for whatever reason it is, not giving them anything, but that mother has to raise that black man, that black young man, the best way that she can. Y'all taking that away.
So nobody.
Hold on.
Let her finish.
Allow me to finish. You're telling me that the black woman is the whole reason behind the destruction of a community. Is that what you're saying?
No. So I'm giving you.
I would like to.
I'm giving you. Like.
No. I'm giving you statistics, and you're reacting emotionally to those statistics.
No, hold on, that black Jen. Let me take this. Yes. Okay, hold on. Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's the black woman's fault.
But that's what you're saying, right, Gary?
Exactly what I'm saying.
Exactly. So how am I acting emotionally, Gen Z?
Oh no, don't worry about that, Eve. Let's just stay on the conversation.
If you guys said the same thing, if you guys are in unison together with your thoughts, how am I acting emotionally by responding to something as asinine as that?
Well,
okay. All right, hold on. She said it's asinine. Let me give you the facts of why it's not asinine. If 85% of the children, I don't know if you missed the number.
On these panels plenty of times spewing your hate for women.
I don't hate women because I've been with my same woman for. I've been with my same. No, I've been with the same woman for 25 years. No, you can't.
Gary,
no, I don't like stupid women.
Gary, she's the co-host, not you. Let her finish.
So, Gary, you find every opportunity to get up on a panel and bash a woman.
No, I just tell the truth.
Let her finish, Gary.
Too many times, Gary, and that's okay. You're entitled to your opinion, you know, whatever. But we've got to stop this because it's starting to sound a little bit like, you know, that you need to be in somewhere else with that rhetoric. Okay, let's just keep things where it's at. We're not going to blame a specific gender for the mishaps of a community. We're not going to do that.
So we're not gonna hold on, right at the beginning. So we're not gonna pay attention to the numbers of what it is. Hold on, and let me ask you a question there, Eve. Hold on, Eve. Let me ask you a question. When was telling the truth bashing?
Gary, where is the statistical analysis that says because of black women there's destruction?
Can I get this one? So let me answer this. So remember, I brought up. So
women are the
good
reason
point.
You asked for it. Let him bring it up for you.
Hold on, let me read the super chat real quick. Here for the team with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. It says black women are choosing the wrong black men, and black men are choosing the wrong black. And black men are choosing the wrong. What? Okay, wait a minute. What? Okay. Bruh. People are using discernment while dating. Okay.
So I like that super chat because that's what I was gonna say. Like what I was saying earlier about Michael B. Jordan and women deeming him corny. Michael B. Jordan is not the only one who black women have deemed corny. Okay. What you have to understand is that we have created a culture where the women are actually chasing the thugs and they're having children by men who have multiple baby mamas and they're continuing to choose these types of men. So I'm not saying there's any blame on a specific. There's plenty of blame to go around, across the whole community. But what I'm saying is Just like we had that thing with Michael B. Jordan where the women were calling him corny. He's not the only one. Okay, there are a lot of Malcolms, as I like to call it. It's an acronym that stands for mildly attractive, lucrative, communicative, operational, likable men. There are a lot of Malcolms out here, black men who are doing the right thing, getting blue collar jobs, whatever, white collar jobs. And the black women are not choosing those guys. They're choosing Pookie and Ray Ray and Thuggo in them. And I mean, I guarantee, I always say the baddest chicks in our community are going to the most hood dudes. So that is a problem. I'm not saying that the blame 100% goes on the women, but what I am saying is if these women are not choosing the men based off of their familial background, their family structure, and they're just basing it off of, oh, he cute and he tatted and he, he's a scammer or a plug. I mean, you can go online and just search what would you rather have, a 9-to-5, a drug dealer, or a scammer, and you're gonna see a whole bunch of black women saying I want a drug dealer and a scammer. And this is Gen Z. These are younger women. So what does that mean for the next generation when you go on street interviews and you're sampling, what's out here, and they're all saying I want a drug dealer or a scammer?
Well, they got the money.
I think it's exactly that, because we have to understand where this.
They don't have the money.
They do have the money.
No, they don't.
Hold on,
Oh,
please.
you must not be a drug dealer then.
Haven't been able to say anything.
Hold on, Eve wants to speak.
So I still hear that there's no accountability on the black man, though. You make great points, but you're missing some key elements here.
Stop over talking her, Biggin, please.
I'm holding the thug guys, the single mother raised black men accountable. But
that's single mother raised. See,
yes.
I understand the language that you're doing here, and please don't do that. Because
no, I mean that's a human.
that's single mother raised.
Yes.
See, you speak from that because you do come from a 2-parent household, so you would have a level of bias. So would that make you qualified? Would that make you qualified to speak on matters such as this if you don't have that experience? And I think
I'm from a single mother household.
That's not
false logic.
And I still speak like that.
That's a logical fallacy to say that.
One at a time. Please let CT talk, guys. Please.
Okay, guys. Here for the T. Thank you so much. Says another word. Stop ignoring red flags. And big time. 2022. Or thank you for the $5 super chat. Says 2022 stats. Black women committed more homicides than white men. Is that culture? Damn, I didn't know that. Vladimir. Yeah. I could have swore we had somebody on the panel. But guys, please go ahead. Go ahead, guys.
Jay Roll, thank you for saying that. Shout out to the panel first and foremost. How's everybody doing tonight? Good to see you guys.
Good.
So I'm just saying that was an illogical fallacy for you to say that someone who doesn't come from a single parent household does not have the right to say that. That's like going to a doctor and saying, well, doc, you don't have cancer, so you don't have the right to diagnose me and try to give me a treatment for what's wrong.
It can give a level of bias. It can give a level of bias because you don't understand.
Bias, but see, bias is inevitable.
Hold on, Jay. Hold on just a second. If this man is sitting here specifically speaking about a single parent, a woman specifically, that is the root of destruction of a black community, then I can step in here and say
ma'am, how come black women didn't choose the black man when the Great Society was introduced? How come when LBJ gave the black community the choice of the state or the black man, they chose the state?
Come on, we're not doing this.
Now we're not doing this. Also, now we're not doing this. That's what we draw the line, right?
Stay in the present. Stay in the present, Jay. Right here.
So now,
right here.
Let's find
the past affects the present, though. I mean,
it does. And this we're not going to take it all the way back to LBJ, though. Okay.
Why? That's where the root cause came from.
Come on.
But I would argue that if we're going to go back that far, then technically it's not black women's fault. It's white America's fault. It's the white
man's fault.
No. So hold on, Black Rick. Hold on, let me push back at Black Rick for a second. Okay.
All right.
Here's the cocaine man. Here's the rock. Is it your choice to take it or leave it?
I'm gonna take that cocaine, but
you understand what I'm saying? Just because something is presented to you, you still have the choice to either do it or not.
Yeah. And to answer your point, Eve, I'm not attributing the sole blame on this. I'm saying this is one of the main contributing factors to the dysfunction. And you said something like, I'm from a nuclear family household, so I can't empathize or sympathize or understand the plight or the struggle of, a single mother raised child. And that's not true, because I've got friends. Most of my friends come from single parent homes. And I know that if you are raised in a single mother home specifically, the rate of domestic abuse increases by 34% if that woman introduces another man who is not blood to that child into the family dynamics. These are real statistics. So and these women do not stop dating, okay? Like I always say, a bad chick don't go 6 months without D. So they're not stopping dating when they have these kids. They pop the kid out and then they back on the carousel, and they're dating men over and over again, and they're bringing different men into their home and leaving their children susceptible to abuse, whether it be sexual or physical or verbal, whatnot. But these are men.
By the way, dating means fornicating. By the way,
even if you're in a nuclear family, those things still happen.
But guess what factor prevents that from happening at a high rate? When you're in a nuclear family, the father, because when somebody realize, and that's why people who are, human trafficked and whatnot, they come from broken homes. They come from the foster system. Why? Because they have nobody looking out for them. Like Kendrick Lamar said, ain't nobody praying for me. And when you don't have a strong masculine man in that household to protect those children, then people like, oh, well, this is just mama.
There have been women, single mothers that have raised their children, their young men, to be exceptional young men, successful,
absolutely,
and everything. So we just
and guess what percentage of that? Guess what percentage? That's 15%.
So the Black can you repeat that? Black Gen Z, can you repeat that stat, please?
Yes, please.
So the people who are coming from these single mother households and being successful is like 15-20%. The rest of them are becoming degenerates. Unfortunately, it doesn't bring me joy to say this. I'm not picking on anybody or anything like that. I'm not attributing sole responsibility to the state of the Black community to just that dynamic, but that is a huge factor and one of the main reasons, and the one that gets the most pushback, one that gets the most resistance. Why? Because the women, the matriarchal hierarchy of the Black community, the women run the community, and that's why it gets the most pushback, because they know they're in the wrong, but they don't want to be corrected.
AKA the gynocracy.
And they don't want to be corrected by Black men because they don't respect Black men.
AKA the gynocracy. So every time you hear a woman say, down with the patriarchy, understand the reason why you have the ability to even say that in a society is because of a patriarchy. You should be thanking God Almighty that you have one in your life.
I just want to say the blame game really doesn't matter in this situation. What matters is the mechanical reality. Children need fathers. Now, this is not to say that women need mothers, and I'm not blaming single mothers when I say this. I mean, mothers provide a different sort of nurturing than fathers do. Fathers offer a conditional love, and that's very important for teaching consequences. Now, mothers provide a more unconditional love, and you need that for emotional health. But when we're looking at issues of criminality, it's necessary for children to understand that actions have consequences when they're young, so that this doesn't become a problem when they grow older. Now, are there issues with not having a mother? Yes, mothers are important too. We're not discounting the necessity of having both parents in the household, and we're not excusing that the men who are not stepping up, who could be stepping up, are part of the problem. They are part of the problem. There's a lot of men who aren't able to be there because of the legal system and because of the way things are set up. There are a lot of men out there who are just being bad fathers.
D, are you a parent?
Personally?
Yeah.
No, I do not have children out of wedlock.
So you really can't talk about being a parent, though.
Well, maybe he identifies as a parent.
Do you identify as a parent?
This is very much an obvious mechanical reality. Let's not troll here, okay?
Right. Now you're gay, though, correct?
Hey, diagnosis.
I don't know.
I mean, you can identify as
I'm just saying. I'm just asking.
No.
Just
That's
asking.
a straw man. That's a straw man. The idea that, oh, since you're not a parent, you can't speak on being a parent or anything like that. It's a straw man argument because we know we can look at statistical data to tell us what is the best way to be. Hold on. Excuse me. Hold on.
No, don't get all girly with me. Don't get all girly and catty with me.
No,
well, do you know
you're being catty by interrupting.
Hang on now. Don't get all girly with me.
Well,
now.
shut up and let me finish.
Don't tell me to shut up. All right, with your stats. All right, what do you got? A sheet on your? You got a sheet on your wall with all these stats?
Get 777.
Hang on.
You guys are ruining the show. You're ruining the show.
Hang on now.
777.
Hang on. I'm not listening to anybody. Hang on a second, Black. You got all these stats on your wall, and the stats say this, and the stats say that. But what does it really matter at the end of the day? It doesn't address how you were raised or how you act. Those stats don't mean anything to anybody.
Actually, they do.
You're wasting your own breath.
No, you're wasting your breath.
You can take those stats and shove them up your ass. That's what you can do with your stats.
Black Jen, I told you already. Why are you falling for this idiot's trap?
Right? No, you're wasting.
Don't argue with a fool. Else you look like a fool, brother.
777.
The reality is, statistical data tells us exactly.
I don't care about data.
Okay, well, are you going to
let me matter?
Are you going to let me finish? Then I'm not talking to you. If you don't care about data, if you don't care about data, then be quiet and let the other people.
It doesn't matter. You're not preaching to anybody. You ain't teaching nobody nothing.
We want to hear
all this.
You need to grow up.
We know all this, though, sir. I get it. Like you read a couple stats, and you think that you're the master of this, the master of that. It's just statistics.
You need to look up my channel. My whole channel is about
Black
community. So the reality is,
what are you doing for your community, sir? What are you doing for your community, though?
Staying out of it if he's trying to stay alive.
I can tell you a whole bunch of things I do for my community.
What are you doing? Go ahead.
Well, let me make this point first. So when it comes to statistical data, statistics tell us what works. Okay. So if and I know a lot of women can relate to this. If you're a woman and you're pregnant and you've never given birth before, what are you going to do? You're going to study on, okay, what do I need to put in my body? How much weight should I be gaining? You're going to ask the doctor, how do I stay healthy? And make sure that my baby is healthy when it's born. So the reality is,
why do you hate women though? That's what I'm trying to understand.
Not if you
shut up, man.
Let's finish this point, man.
Why do you disrespect women like this though, Black?
When did I disrespect women?
You said you're from a nuclear family, so why do you hate women? Is what
I have 3 sisters, sir. I didn't disrespect one woman. The reality is that you don't have to be a parent to know what works, okay? And statistics can help us.
Did that trigger you when I said that to this young man?
Do I look triggered?
But you clearly sound triggered.
No.
Are you a parent? Are you a parent?
No, but I work for the.
Are you a parent, 777?
You can't say anything about being a parent.
Are you a parent, 777?
I work with elementary school kids.
Go ahead, CT.
Big Time with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Says having a kid makes you more aware, but you can still be aware. Do you? What say you guys on that comment?
Yeah, like I said, having a kid obviously is going to bring out that paternal instinct, but statistics and data helps you to tell you what works for raising children. So we know that raising children in a nuclear household statistically renders a better result for that child's happiness and that child's success in life. So we use the statistics, we use the data to make an informed decision. That's why they're there, for us to use to make an informed decision about how we want to raise our family and the dynamics that we want to have in our household. Okay, now you asked me specifically what I do for my community. And like I said, I work for the Boys and Girls Club, where I go to different elementary schools in the metro Atlanta area. And I work with elementary school kids, and I work with middle school kids, and I do a fitness program because I used to play football at the University of Georgia. So I teach these kids how to stay in shape, how to stay healthy, how to eat healthy, so they don't have long-term problems down the line. And I interact with parents on a daily basis, and I see the ones that are coming from single parent households and how their behavior is different from the ones who come from nuclear households.
You probably don't say anything to them, though. You probably don't say anything to that.
I do. If their kid is acting up, I say, hey, you need to correct it.
Before you guys continue, before you guys continue, thank you so much. you all for being up here. Thank you all in the chat for being here. Like, share, and subscribe. Please donate to Chaotic Truth. I'm about to jump off for a minute. I have other endeavors, but I will be back. For CT will be here a few more hours. Thank you all so much for your viewpoints, insight, and we'll see you guys later.
Thank you so much, Eve.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eve.
Take care.
Could I say one thing real quick? I think that we don't really have to blame women for this, because it comes down to individual's choice, which yes, is partially the woman's choice who have children with, but it also comes down to how much attention that child gets, right? So
you should go out and come back in, bruh. You're really choppy.
Go out and don't come back. How about that? All right.
Chill out, man. Hey, Rock, come back. Rock, come back out.
You ain't got nothing good to say. Don't say nothing at all. How about
Hey, Rock,
that?
come back because your mic is a little bit off real quick.
So,
Rock.
you know what,
come
though?
back.
If we're going to keep talking about single-parent households, we also need to address the fact that the family court system legitimately pits the system and the mother, and the children to an extent, against the father. And it makes it extremely hard for fathers to be fathers, even the ones who want to be fathers. It makes it very difficult. Most states in the U.S. are mother-first states. This is a fact because, by and large, Black Gen Z, the stat is at least 75% of all
Here we go with the mother. Here we go with
90. Will you stop interrupting, man?
I still have a credit from the
It's 90%.
I haven't got a chance to use. I'm going to use 777.
Yeah.
Oh, yep, that's right. That's right.
I still have a credit. I'm going to use it.
You're gone for 20 minutes because,
Nice.
yeah, Jay
Thank you. He was really disturbing the talk.
20 minutes.
90% of custody battles are won by the woman.
Thank you. And if 90% of the custody battles are won by women, as it is, okay, and they get what on average, I think 70% of the divorces are initiated, or 65% of the divorces are initiated by women. Okay,
70% of divorces. Yeah.
70%. Okay, 70% are initiated by women. That means that the family court system is based around draining the man of his resources, because we all know, by and large, men tend to be the ones who make more money. Okay.
Yeah, but the men still have options to prevent that from happening.
No, because
if you're talking about a prenup, listen, most judges will laugh at your face if you produce a prenup.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about a prenup. I'm talking about pulling a Chris Watts. That's how you can get out of it.
So, well, yeah, I mean, the reality is a lot of women it's women in general, but a lot of women in the Black community specifically practice parental alienation. So parental alienation is when you keep the father from seeing the child, okay? I'm sure we've seen plenty of clips on social media where the father wants to be with the child and he's prevented from being with that child because the woman is begrudged. So a lot of people are saying, oh, these guys are deadbeats, da, 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 da. That's not the case. A lot of fathers want to be fathers. The problem is the women are practicing parental alienation, and that's causing big issues, so much to the point where the man spends money on legal fees. He spends $70, $50, $100,000 on legal fees, all, to lose a custody battle. And if he's not beaten down to the point where he wants to put a gun in his mouth, then he's just look, I'm gonna wash my hands with it. I hope my kid understands by the time he turns 18.
Oh,
By
yeah,
the way,
well, see, that's why.
No, what he just mentioned real quick, what he just mentioned was called when a man zeroes out. Okay, and it happens when you think, that the average man, after suffering a divorce, that's just the divorce. We're not even talking about the fees and the mental stress of dealing with custody battles.
Yeah, we can hear you.
It takes 15 years for them to recover.
You're looking at a guy that's actually dealing with parental alienation right now. I haven't seen my kids in 6 years.
Oh, it's crazy. Now, do you feel like you're gonna snap and pull a Chris Watts or
There's
one
been
of those?
a couple times that I felt like I was going to snap.
Because see, gentlemen, that is an option. And if it happens enough, maybe, just maybe, they would wake up and think, you know what? Do I really want to destroy this guy's life and have him snap? And
now, there's another facet of this that nobody mentioned that I think they tend to leave out because a lot of people are unaware of until I bring it up. But when you're in the hospital and they hand you all that paperwork after your girl or your wife has a baby,
He who hurt you,
and they think that they tell you that you're signing a paperwork for the birth certificate. That is not what you're signing. You're signing a legal affidavit for financial responsibility, which is legally binding and can be held up in a court of law, making you financially responsible. Once you sign that paper,
turn your mic up, by the way.
I can't.
Why? What's wrong with it?
I don't have my mixer. My mic is all the way up.
Angry
Sounds
Man.
good on my end.
Yeah, it sounds good on my end too.
Oh well, Angry Man, real quick, man. Is Adam Scott right?
Adam Scott. I think that he was acting like a fool. Straight up. That was.
I mean, Scott
show.
Adams. Scott Adams. Sorry, Scott Adams.
That was all a big show, dude. It was all a big show.
Are you referring to the real one or the one in the?
I'm referring to the real one.
An hour ago. Okay.
Yeah. Can I get something in on Scott Adams? So I actually did a story on this, and the reality is Scott Adams was actually reacting to a poll that said 54 to 56% of Black people, didn't think it was okay to be white. So he's saying when you have a majority of people in a certain demographic, according to that poll, who say it's not okay to be white and you should, be shamed for your whiteness or, compensate for your sins of the father or something like that, then he says, if that's the case, then I prefer to be away from those people because I would classify that as a hate group if the majority of these people consider it wrong to be another race. I tend to agree, especially when you have people out here saying that, the only people who can be racist are white people. Well, go ahead.
All I'm saying is I would be more inclined to I'm not saying what he said is wrong, but I'd be more inclined to believe that he actually meant what he said if he wouldn't have went on Hotep Jesus's live stream the following day and basically got down on his knees and begged for forgiveness and would have stood in his square.
Probably didn't want to be canceled.
He's already being canceled.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
What does it matter?
Now,
because for me,
salute to
his
everybody
legacy
here. But let me go ahead and say this too. Whenever, which I don't care what folks think, whenever I got invited to the White House, and several of us were able to sit back and talk with Donald Trump personally, you know what Donald Trump said? Donald Trump said white people do not need to be in the affairs of Black people. You know why? He said because the only time and the only reason that Black people are in the predicament that they're in is because they don't want to get out of it. He said white people stop trying to help Black people with Black people issues. Let Black people fix themselves. Now
I agree.
They would have took that if Trump said that to us personally. If Trump was to say that out in the open like he did when he was a president, they would have cut his head off probably. But was Trump wrong when he said that? No, he was not.
No, he's absolutely right.
I 100% agree. Let Black people fix Black people issues. Well, what if Black people want to fix it? Then they will die out. Let them. They chose. We're choosing that.
Modern Renaissance man. Earlier today, Flex Henry said that the majority he said the majority at first. I heard him, and then he recanted and said, "Oh, it's a large number." But he said the majority of trash in the inner city communities are caused by children. Are Steel Reserve cans, Mad Dog 2020 bottles? Are those? When you see that on the ground, is that caused by children?
Man, you know them 10-year-olds are going into the liquor stores and buying other Hennessy. You know them 10-year-olds are doing that, man. You know
what
that.
Do you think about what Flex Henry said?
When I was in high school, we was still getting alcohol.
What do you think about that, Modern?
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry for chaotic. What did you say?
I'm just saying, what do you think about that? I mean, there's some sort of validity to that. I mean, are there 12-year-olds who are purchasing Steel Reserve and throwing the
chaotic truth? You're also failing to mention the cigarellos and mounts they purchase.
I think it's the home people.
Did we miss something?
Go ahead,
that stuff right there is being done by Black adults. It's not being done by children. The only way the children to get it is because the Black adults might be them type of folks. Like a lot of my OGs in the neighborhood I grew up are, let a little nigga have a little drink, man. Let him get a little hair on his chest.
Yeah,
12-year-old, 13-year-old come up to somebody that is an alcoholic. Hey, I got 40 bones on me right now, man. I'll buy you a 6-pack if you go and get me this, and they will go in there and buy it for that little 12-year-old. But nah, realistically, no. The ones that are throwing all those bottles and stuff around like that, they are the drunks that have always been drunks, probably since they were
100%.
Yeah. It's prolific in our community.
Are white neighborhoods or communities like, you ever seen Marvel Cinematic Universe? Renaissance Man?
Of course.
Are white neighborhoods like
Asgard?
As Asgard? I thought so. You see like different colored birds.
That's where my homes are. My homes in different states are all in Asgard.
I grew up in an all-white neighborhood.
Why are seagulls always at inner city grocery stores?
Seagulls
in Chicago.
Why are seagulls like? About a Renaissance Man, please, sir, if you could answer that question. Why are seagulls always at inner city Negro plazas? Seagulls. How come they're never at the nice white plazas?
There was this time where they used to be rats, but they evolved into seagulls, so they always
seagulls.
Dude, you'll find those at every Walmart in America.
No, you won't. No, sir. I go to nice Walmart. I don't find.
Yeah, you'll find them. Yeah, you'll find some. You'll find some amalgamation. You'll find some grackles here in Texas. You'll find pigeons in Chicago. You will find seagulls in Chicago.
Yes, you would. The seagulls in Chicago are robbing the pigeons.
Gangster, man, they in there. It's insane. Hey, you guys have said a lot here. You guys have said a lot.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Medgar Evers, and it's a very tranquil scene compared to just a couple hours ago where a drive-by shooting just took place. Excuse me. I'm getting live updates as we speak. I've just been updated to the amount of casualties from this drive-by shooting, and I'm getting reports that 2 people were actually declared deceased and 27 others were shot and injured but are in stable condition. And although we must pray for the families of the fallen, we must also praise God for the aim of the super gremlin. If you want to know more about the victims of this crime, make sure you add BGZM News 17 on Patreon at www.patreon.com/blackgenzmindset. Also, don't forget to like the video, share the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and comment on the video to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this gun violence in the streets. For more hard-hitting news coverage from the community, by the community, I'm Janquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
And cut. All right, dog. Let's get the out of here before these niggas come back.
Whoa.
Yo!
Ain't that nigga J?
Nah, that ain't me. That ain't me.
He just went live
that
with
ain't
that
me.
funky ass suit
that's
on.
that nigga. That's not me.
Hey, get that nigga.
Janquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia. Pray for me.
Black Suitified, can I ask you a question, sir?
Sure.
Hey, you listen. Believe it or not, people don't believe it, but I also lived in the inner city. I know people don't believe it. It's shocking. Have you ever been woken at 2:15 in the morning?
I don't even know what you're about to say, but I'll say yes because
Negro driving down the street, bumping music like it's a concert.
Yes. Hey, look, man.
Yep. That's what they do.
I grew up where Black Rick grew up. He won't admit it.
They'd stop at Southside Shrimp, drunk, get some food, get in their car, blast a motherfucking
79 from 79th.
Oh my God.
And Stony Island.
I knew it.
Going east to 79th and Yates, over to about, and I'm just talking about Terrortown and all those areas, and all the way down to 71st and Jeffrey, on back up to about 69th and Stony Island. All that area right there is the southeast side that you do not want to be in.
And Black Suitified, particularly you guys.
Yeah.
You gotta watch the earlier stream with me and Eve. And Anna came on the stream as well.
I saw it.
And okay. Have you guys ever been woken up at about 7 a.m. in the ghetto to the sounds of a single mother walking down the street with some sort of child in the stroller saying, and I'm paraphrasing, "Get your mother," and fill in the blank? Is that?
Yes.
How come you don't hear that in white neighborhoods?
You don't want to know.
They respect their neighbors.
They work hard in those to maintain a semblance of order in those neighborhoods, and they keep the riffraff out deliberately.
Not in the trailer park.
I'm not talking about trailer parks.
We're talking about neighborhoods.
I'm talking about neighborhoods that are well-to-do. One that I stay in, ones that have good HOAs.
Yeah,
I mean, they can get annoying at times. I even get annoyed with the HOA at times, but I respect them because they keep my property values. Just a thought with the 5 pounds at Black GZ is right. A lot of single mothers also end up abusing or killing their children when they can't cope. Maybe not in all cases, but a lot.
He's 100% right.
But if I could answer it, I'm sorry, you because you asked blacks who define me, but I would say also, I never seen it in the places that I moved to, but in the hood, I saw that all the time. And I think the reason why it doesn't happen in like the nice Asgard neighborhoods because those type of people don't want folks to know their business.
There you go.
They don't want to be out there showing folks that I'm yelling at my baby so y'all can be in my business, think that I'm some kind of psychotic mother or father. But in the hood, it wasn't 7 o'clock, but more like 7:15ish, like before school bus and all that stuff was going
come. So. I got one more question. I'm gonna let you guys rock it out. Just one more question. And I hope it's Scott Adams, right? I hope he's listening. Do you think it's because in the black community I'm not like these Negroes, but do you think it's because they have this attitude of I dare you to say something to me from the little single mother who weighs about 100 pounds carrying a stroller with a kid, all the way to the weed smoking, dice shooting Negro? Do you think it's like this attitude in the black community?
It is
absolutely completely
deeply seated inferiority complex that I've come to.
What do you mean, black
theorize? Deep down inside, they could talk all about that black excellence, how great they are, but at the end of the day, I know when that Negro's walking from JJ's Fish Hut. I know when he's
on 75th and Cottage. 75th and Cottage.
Best popcorn shrimp.
Hey, wait, you from Chi-Town?
I'm not gonna answer that. But when they walk out of there, now I want you guys to think deeply about this. They see the street, they see the lamppost, they see this asphalt, they see cars, they see planes in the air, the clothes that they have on, down to the shoelaces. They don't make any of it. The houses from where they even get the material, they don't make any of it. So I think they overcompensate because deep down inside, when he pulls out that Galaxy 20S7, he don't know how it works. He don't know where the screen comes from. He doesn't know anything about the internal components. They don't make anything. So they have to overcompensate. Man, we made the light bulb and the traffic lights. So we got to in there first. Way to go!
In the gas, we made it. We the smartest people in the world. We
smart devils. They steal everything.
And like right. And look, I literally just got done doing a show on that where I said they talking about us stealing everything, but yet we proud that we black on Ariel as a mermaid, and we proud that we black as Tinkerbell. But they steal everything.
It's insane.
But when we steal Disney from them, that's different though because we deserve to be represented. But then y'all want to take Aunt Jemima off of the box, okay?
Yeah, it's insane.
I'm still pissed off about Uncle Ben.
Me too.
That was my favorite rice, man. I love looking at that old black man.
But
they took it away.
Come on, let's face the fact.
We get enamored.
Black mermaid though, and we got a black
Instead, we get enamored by rap snacks made by Master P. and all the rest of them, man. It's insanity. I'm sorry, he doesn't even manufacture them. He just lends his name.
Of course he doesn't. He doesn't manufacture them. He doesn't grow the potatoes. He doesn't own the farm. He doesn't own the fertilizer.
Nothing. It's just
But we will brag. Master B got his own chip.
Yeah, man. They still
we make our own noodles.
We don't own
for me while I poison the neighborhood.
Hold on there, fellas. I'll tell you where it all came from. When we decided bad meant good. You understand that? When we decided that bad meant good, that's where it all started. Because black folks is like an oxymoron. We like this when it supports us, but we hate it when it doesn't support us. Sorry, it's that simple.
A black woman or man who got shot in Chicago for trying to
It comes down to the individual, man. That's what it really is.
Joanna, that's
be raised up in a hellhole and still make the right choices. I mean, like really.
That's a
You're correct.
Argument.
That's what it all comes down to. It's not any of these women's fault or nobody's fault. It's just
you gotta fix your internet, bruh. You make too much money to be talking like that.
You got that Biden.
Gary, calm down. He's got AOL.
You got that Biden. Bro, you got to get rid of that Biden Wi-Fi, man.
Hey,
I'll get on the phone.
Joanna, that's a disingenuous argument. I mean, or insinuation. You can't. Never mind. I'm not gonna. Never mind.
Well, no, I'll answer it for her. It was a black man that killed that black woman. They're trying to rob the woman, but that black man was from a single black woman's household.
Oh, he's talking about that cop. Oh well, it's Chicago.
Yeah.
I mean, excuse my French, but them niggas would shoot you for looking at them the wrong way. They will. I mean, when I lived there, I hung out with them good old boys, so I was all right.
Wow,
but
he just gave himself away. You just said you weren't going to answer. Oops.
Look, I already told you, black people, it's an oxymoron. They tell you what they're not going to do, and they do it right after.
Well, if you watch that video, she warned him. She said, "I am going to kill you." He said, "You're gonna have to kill me." And when she shot him, he's like, "It flipped." It's like they're not in reality.
Oh,
it's
baby,
like,
I'm sorry. Baby.
It's like they're astro projecting at all times.
She was very merciful.
I mean, when she lit him up, man, he was like, "Baby, I'm sorry."
She didn't light him up.
She was merciful.
She should have been like, "Don't call me baby either."
Every time I pulled a clip, it would have been like how people say their parents spanked them. Didn't I tell you not? That would have been the buzz. Didn't I tell? Yeah.
Until it ran out.
She was merciful.
And it always goes down like that. They talk this gangster life like they ready to die, and then they get shot. Not one time in my life have I heard somebody just go, except for one of those crazy whites that's going out in a shootout. Never do you hear them inner city blacks go, "All right, do it, squeeze it, motherfucker." Never. He started instantly begging for his life. Like, "Oh, I'm sorry, damn." Jesus Christ. What did you think was going to happen?
These bullets hurt for real.
Hey, I am at a point where it's not even hate. It is just perpetual disappointment.
They said she should have minded her own business. I thought she was trying to help. Did she just help the dude?
Yeah, I'm
not
sure. Chicago is the same city where dude got shot in the face in broad daylight, walking out of a convenience store because somebody bumped into him.
Yeah, well,
it was a literal nigga moment from the Boondocks. Bumped into the guy, bang up. No regard for life. And Rock, you mentioned earlier that in the conversation why black women gravitate towards the gangsters. I believe you said it's because they have the money, correct? Or that wasn't you?
No, that wasn't. I wasn't. I haven't been able to speak very much. That probably wasn't me.
Oh, someone on the panel.
Like Lindsay.
Yeah, I said they gravitate to the gangsters, but not because of the money, though.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard somebody say it was because of the money, and I was gonna.
Somebody did say that, but it wasn't me.
I was gonna counter that argument. Well, if those Negroes had so much money, why is it when they die they have to start a GoFundMe every single time? They got all this money and wealth, and then they die, and the insurance companies. And you know what? If I
Because Black Rick, because that's the new black insurance policy.
I would only sell my insurance in black communities because you know they ain't reading the terms and services, and I'd put a clause in there: if you die in a violent act, we ain't paying you out. So they get them to. Some of them will have insurance, and then when they go to collect, the insurance company's like, nope, there's a clause here. This person died in an act of a random gang-related violence. We're not paying you shit.
Bro, I make jokes all the time where I say a lot of people that I deal with, the mentorees, depending on how their parents are, I'm like, hey, if you don't want me to help mentor your son, can I at least take an insurance policy out on him?
That's what the old big mamas used to do. They have their kids and they always had an insurance policy.
Man.
But today the women, they can't afford an insurance policy because
it's okay.
Costs too much.
I got you.
I know.
I'll drop you the 10 G's for the funeral, but I'm pocketing the rest of that 90 G's for your.
No, they'll sue you. Why you care about my kid more than me?
But as far as this goes, this guy that says stay away from blacks, that dude is 100% right. He's 100% right.
I avoid them like the plague.
To move the panel along real quick. Ja Morant. When will we see shootouts in NBA games because they keep letting these thugs and criminals into the NBA?
Wait, what?
Because eventually that's what's gonna happen. Black Jen, you are an athlete on the panel, and you are too, MRM. But Black Jen, go ahead, sir.
So a big and I definitely want to talk about the Ja Morant situation. A big reason why Ja Morant.
Wait, not to cut you off. Please give me some context because I have no idea what happened.
Okay, so Ja Morant is being accused of basically getting, he invited some guys to his crib. They were playing pickup ball. Things got a little messy in the checkup. So like he checked the ball and then the 17-year-old kid checked it back up and it went through the Ja Morant's hands and like the ball hit him in the face because the kid threw the ball so hard. I guess he wasn't ready for the check. And Ja Morant got upset and he squared up with the kids, swung on them, whatnot. Then after the fight was over, he goes back into his house, takes the firearm and allegedly sticks it in the kid's face and like shoves it, in his face. And some accounts even say like in his mouth.
I got to read this story.
Ja Morant also.
How old is John Morant?
22, 23.
Yeah. He also.
And how old was the kid again? 17?
17, yes.
Ja Morant also, Black Gen Z. I'm pretty sure you know this. Ja Morant's mom goes to some mall, gets into an altercation with some 17, 18-year-old kid working at some shoe store. Ja Morant comes up there with an entourage, threatens the kid, says, "What time you gonna be off work?" This is a dude that's worth $250 million.
Yeah.
Did you also hear what Ja Morant and his entourage did too at one of the games?
Laser? Yeah, with the laser, they threatened
pointed a gun at the Pacers bus. We're talking about $120 million is on that bus. That's essentially what the salary cap is for all the damn players on there. What if he would have just shut up the whole damn bus? When are we gonna start seeing gang fights and shootouts at NBA games?
Yeah. He had a laser attachment on a firearm that he had, and he pointed at the gun, or he pointed at the bus, and everybody said, "Oh, it's just a laser. It's just a laser." Y'all know damn well it wasn't no laser pointer. It was an attachment to a firearm that they pointed at the bus, trying to threaten them. And the issue with Ja Morant is that he is in Memphis. Memphis is a hotbed for black on black crime. Memphis is, it's one of the worst. Everybody's talking about Tyree Nichols and all that other stuff. But I've done plenty of stories coming out of Memphis, and we've seen what happened to Young Dolph in Memphis. So Memphis is, it's really bad. And he is in Memphis. He surrounds himself with the hood dudes in Memphis, and it's only a matter of time before he causes somebody to lose their life, or he actually, ends up losing his life, or somebody very close to him, because he's playing with fire. Memphis is extremely dangerous. And the guys that he's connected to, I'm sure they've got beef with other people. So if he's hanging out with them, then he's assuring for trouble.
Let me read the super chat real quick. Big time again. Thank you so much for all the super chats tonight. It says Asian guy was killed in Dallas when 3 sisters called for backup after a love tap. I got to see that one. I got to look.
He
should
have ran. I would.
Bro, as an athlete, I'm telling you right now, when I went off to school on that scholarship, and then when I started doing track and field professionally, you want to know how many times I went back to the hood to try to show that I'm still down? And we know how many times I went back to the hood to show that I'm still faster than the ones I used to race against. Guess how many times I went back? Not
never
once.
I was going to say zero because you're still alive.
I nor did I even feel like I owed it to them. You talking about the whole dude? I'm sorry if this is for real. I'm just gonna be honest with you. It was a choice.
Yeah.
I either was gonna be it was a time where you was able to kind of somewhat do a scholarship for basketball and track is what I was going for, right? Dude, you know what I mean? To me, honestly, especially that Ja Morant is a professional. I just got done reading it.
Mm-hmm.
All the stuff we faced in the hood in basketball, knowing the roughness. You don't even you don't have no ref there. You have to deal with arguing over your foul call. How many times have you been pushed, foul, scratch somebody trying to grab your stuff down there?
A foul? What are you talking
That's
about?
what I'm saying. There's no such thing as that in the hood. So even if the dude did throw the ball and it slipped through him in the face, okay, I'm gonna let you slide with that. I would have thought he would have been a little bit more controlled.
Yeah.
I mean, because
if there were any other group of people playing basketball, it wouldn't have escalated to that point.
Yeah.
Give me one
Ja
second.
Morant, he has a $250 million contract.
Yep. Regular. He grew up with his mother and father. His father actually played professional ball too, I think overseas. But Black Gen, and salute to you.
He might be a setup.
I gotta ask you, Black Gen, do you think that this is going to escalate at a full scale one day where we see shootouts at these games? Because I really feel like that's where it's going to come down to. Like, because if the commissioner doesn't, in my opinion, suspend him indefinitely for the rest of the year or 2 years, then we're going to start seeing other players do this. Crittenden did it 15 years ago when he almost had a shootout with Gilbert Arenas in the damn gym. Why are they bringing this gangster life to sports, to a $1 billion company? Go ahead.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. We are going to start seeing shootouts outside of arenas, shootouts in locker rooms. We had a glimpse of it when Gilbert Arenas brought the 9mm to the locker room years ago. We also saw Brandon Miller, the University of Alabama player, who handed the gun off to the other Alabama player who's actually arrested now.
Projected to go number 3 or 4 in the NBA draft.
Yeah.
I can't believe this. Why would you even? Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So Brandon Miller handed the hammer to Darius Miles. And then Darius Miles he was mixed up with some other hood dude, some local guy out there in Tuscaloosa. And he is now facing life pretty much. And you see these basketball players who, are throwing their lives away in college, in the pros. And we're going to see a lot more of it because these issues are not being addressed. They're being grazed over. They're being looked over. And quite frankly, people, specifically Black people, want to make it seem like these issues aren't going on at all. Okay, like we've seen on the panel.
They recently did have a shooting outside an NBA game, and it killed a guy that was from Chicago. I forgot the person's name, but he was some jewelry guy, and they robbed the jewelry and killed him.
Where was this? He shouldn't have been there.
He made it and survived Chicago, only to go out of town and get.
Yes, I know. It disgusts me.
To all the athletes on the panel, real athletes, I was a mediocre individual athlete who went to a magnet school.
Hardball pro.
Remember back in the day when athletes didn't really mix and mingle with the commoners? What on earth is Ja Morant doing, making $250 million even around common people, going up to some mall, confronting some minimum wage worker? And please, shout out to the minimum wage workers, by the way. What are you talking to these kids for? Go ahead.
I have an answer.
Hold on one second. Check this out, bro. What you would find is that somebody like me that was from that life. I was from that life of the hood and everything like that, right? But we also had some people that was on the basketball team and the track team that came from a middle class or upper middle class that made the team. They was trying so hard to try to fit in to make us convinced that they were about that life too. We're like, dude, you stay in Naperville. Like, bro, you stay in Wambasi. What you talking about? How are you trying to be on this summer league team and trying to show us that you hardcore and that you down and all that? Ja Morant, I can guarantee you, he had both his parents. You said the other one's professional. Ja Morant probably was only doing it to just try to show that he is still about that life, although he is not. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy to go, oh, well, wait till you get off of work. Dude, you're not about that life, man. Seriously, stop. It's crazy. I don't care who it is. I didn't care how mad or how pissed off the hood got at me. I don't owe you ninjas nothing. Therefore, I don't have to come there and prove, yeah, I know I made it out, but I can still come back. I'm not trying to come back. That's why I got out. Getting out is out, not going back. Not even displaying nothing. I'm not going to display. I mean, it's easy. It's easy. It's really easy, but they got to make it hard by still trying to be about that appearance to everybody else. Got the braids and all that stuff like that. It's trying to be tatted up dudes. You came from an upper middle class life. You're not about that life. Stop it.
I think if he's allowed to flash guns and do all this extra stuff, he's exactly that. He's allowed to. They're letting him do it, so it can influence younger people to do the same. Because all they're trying to do is sow as much chaos as possible. They need us fighting each other at every avenue possible. They want us fighting over football. They want us fighting over basketball. They want us fighting over who goes to what bathroom. They want us fighting over everything. So if he's allowed to do this, think about it. If a regular person flash a gun at a busload of $125 million, they're gone. They're gone.
Yep. Did he not see what happened to Takeoff? You see what I'm saying? Did he not see what happened to Takeoff? You still trying to show people that you about that life? Look what happened to Takeoff.
And Nipsey Hussle.
Man.
It was recorded because it was recorded. Yep. That whole thing was recorded. That was almost like a setup too. He was independent. He wasn't. That's what I'm saying. That is the point. That is the point. Is that they know how it always gets where if I was to go back, even just I'm like, Mama, yo, I'm not coming back for Thanksgiving or nothing like that because I know it's gonna be some people that's gonna be on some ish just for the simple fact of wanting to hate on you to try to come and start something. They know that if you're with your family, they want to start something with your family, knowing you're not gonna let your family go out like that. So now you about to be involved in this scuffle, in this fight, and the colleges will tell you whether you purposely. Or whether you purposely or inadvertently allow somebody to bring some type of a negative attention to this college, your scholarship is done. I'm not going back.
Can I ask a question? MRM, you're Adam Silver. Ban or no ban to Ja Morant?
If it was me, the type of person that I am,
yeah.
Oh, done.
Rock, what's up?
I'm making an example. In the Negro Basketball Association.
What's the question? Ban him or not?
If you were the NBA commissioner, and I don't think that he probably has this kind of power, but would you ban Ja Morant?
I would give him at least a 6-month suspension, and I would tell him if he continued his behavior outside of the arena and inside the arena, that he would be showing a negative light to the NBA, and we can't have that because the NBA is about opportunity and people coming out of the slums and being able to come from nothing to one of the richest people in the world, like your person that you're in love with, LeBron James. You know, like
Black Gen Z, what's up?
Yeah, here's the thing with Ja Morant. He has a $250 million contract. He also signed an endorsement deal with Nike, and they just gave him a signature shoe. He also has a deal with Powerade. So he's got endorsements on the line. He's got, $1 million deal with the NBA, multi-million-dollar deal with the NBA, and he's throwing it all away. So I absolutely think that there's got to be somebody who can correct him, and honestly, I think the best way is to just keep his head 100% immersed in basketball because, I agree there needs to be disciplinary action, but all that suspension is going to do is going to throw your money down the toilet because you suspend him for 3-6 months. Now he's down in the dumps, and guess exactly who he's going to. He's going to those hood dudes who got him in trouble in the first place. So I would say, man, they got to maybe talk to his dad because his dad's very involved. Somebody needs to make sure that the only thing that he cares about is basketball. And the only people that are around him are people who are going to help him get better at basketball.
Here's what I really think about it. If he's getting all these contracts and these endorsement deals, that's part of the endorsement deal. hey, buddy, guess what? We're going to turn you into this person, and you're going to be this guy in the NBA. You're going to be this guy, and anything you do, we don't really care. You're going to be able to get away with murder like OJ did. You know, like OJ was, I really think OJ was the first big show of how much power something, you know, they could build, right? Because he obviously did it. Obviously he did it. He kept running from the police.
Hey. Stop your nonsense. You don't know what OJ did.
He did it.
Don't be dissing my boy.
He did it. I know what he did.
You know what I mean, you're one of them people. You don't know what OJ did. Because OJ ain't black. He's OJ.
Las Vegas. Come on now. He's got to go.
Sorry, MRM. It's just, I hate when these black guys be disrespecting OJ, because OJ is the first black superstar for us, okay? And you're going to take the white woman's side that he killed anybody. The glove didn't fit and he was acquitted.
I'm taking the white woman's side.
Okay, you're another one of them. OJ did not do anything. He was proven innocent.
Chaotic truth.
Why do you black people blaming OJ for cleaning up his mess?
Look, nobody cares about OJ's obsolete.
He didn't clean up his mess. He left it very messy.
There is a term to describe what's going on here. The Urban Dictionary defines niggasynthesis as a. Hang on a second here. What the fuck? Oh, I see. Okay. Niggasynthesis, a perpetual bond between niggas over an appreciation of trivial or ignorant things. Period. This is opposite of a nigga moment, which is a perpetual conflict between niggas over trivial and ignorant things. This is unlike the bonds between friends, family members, which have mutual beneficial to all members of that party involved. When a nigga moment collides with nigga synthesis, you get a complete fucking disaster. The Boondocks summed this up very well, and this statement applies. When you have Jay, I know that look, Jay. I know that look. You're like, what is this? What's this nigga talking about? Jay, when you have
I've seen the episode.
Oh, okay. Well, you're familiar then. When you have a group of people that were raised by essentially kids, popping out 8 or 9 kids, they pass down all of that ignorance plus more trauma that was never dealt with. I played one basketball game at a park back in the day. I'm not going to name it because I don't want people to know where I'm from. But they would fight over everything. Everything. If somebody got laid up or crossed over, it run up, knock the dude out over a basketball game. And it is because they are overcompensating. And God forbid if somebody like Chuck showed up and crossed one of them over or shot a layup or whatever the terminology is. I don't even watch sports or participate in any of these sporting events because of the very nature of the type of people that they're attracting to these events. For me, going to a basketball game is like going to a club in the inner city. You asking to get shot.
I was gonna say to Rock's point though, yeah. Whenever we did crossover and go professional, when in the contract, it literally draws out the type of scenes and stuff that you need to abstain from. It literally tells us how we can be fine. I mean, I know people got endorsement with soda and all that. We were not allowed to even drink soda or pop, if you want to call it. So, I mean, what I'm saying that for is that if Jean Morant has these endorsements from these other companies, it's guaranteed that they have it in there, not in fine print. They probably have it in there big, bold, and black. Negro do not hang around other Negroes.
Yeah, but let's think about this logically. How would they enforce that? And MRM, do you think
you get fined?
Do you think the elite that are these multimillionaires are going to want to hang out with some dude from Skid Row somewhere, grew up in some bad neighborhood? How are they going to be able to relate to their peers, or their counterparts at that wealth level? Like what could they relate to one another? So obviously they're gonna backpedal and go back to what they know.
Yeah, but then in his case, though, John Moran, it's kind of like what's the other? Is it Grant Hill? Grant Hill had good parents and all that stuff too, and so did Steph Curry. And then that's like they never were about that life, so there's nothing to go back to. They went into something that's new just so they can try to show a point that I'm about that life or I'm down or you know what I'm saying. It was a dumb decision. If I grew up in a 2-parent household in the upper middle class, I would not be trying to be around hood ninjas.
You see Dr. Dre rolling around in the hood, hanging out with them hood ass niggas. No, man.
Y'all know me, still same OG.
He ain't hanging out with Martha Stewart and shit, man.
Yeah, we gotta watch the language. Jay, what's up, man? Hey, ban John Morant or not, sir?
Ban him.
Oh, you ban him?
You know why? And you know why I say that? Because we did worse to Michael Vick for something that wasn't even done to humans. And what did we do? We made an example of Michael. We gave Michael Vick the hammer. We as society did that. We as society
you don't mess with white people in there.
I'm not even.
What doesn't make sense?
No, pit bulls is black people animals.
They put him in the jet. They put him in the jail for years.
That's what I'm saying. We as society gave him the hammer.
Let Jay finish. Let Jay finish. Go ahead.
That's my point, man. You know, and not only that, but they took him out. You said for 3 seasons, I think, right? Was it 3 or 4 seasons?
It was like 3 seasons. He was
out until he went back to the Eagles. So I'm saying, if you're gonna do that for somebody who was part of a dogfighting ring, you mean to tell me you're not gonna do this? Not gonna do worse to somebody who assaulted a minor?
Jay, which football player in New York shot himself in the groin? And they put him in jail for shooting his own self.
In a nightclub. Well, that's because the New York gun laws are stupid.
I know, right?
For one,
yeah.
But for two, Plexico Burress. Plexico Burress was already troubled before that, dude.
Yeah.
Honestly, Plexico Burress was a weird dude. So honestly, that was just the icing on the, the cake for that. But honestly, if they don't drop the hammer on this guy for something like that, and he also brandished the weapon as well. You mentioned earlier. If they don't put the hammer on him for that, then honestly, the NBA is just going to become a joke.
The NBA had to ban one of his friends already. So yeah, you are right. Dio, ban him or not, Dio?
Well, I'm kind of confused about all this loss of sponsorships and getting suspended and stuff. I mean, again, he pulled a gun on a kid. I mean, why are we coddling our celebrities like this? Why didn't we do like Russia did with Brittany Griner and just stick him in jail and throw away the key? I mean, he pulled a gun on a kid. I don't get it.
I know he pulled a gun.
What state was this in, by the way?
I changed my vote to ban.
What state was it that it happened? By the way, CT?
I believe it was in Memphis, if I'm not mistaken.
So in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Tennessee, okay. Well, I don't know. Their gun laws.
Tennessee. Yep. Sorry.
So their gun laws might be a little bit less, less strict. But even still, though, even in states where the gun laws are less strict, brandishing is still considered a crime. It's still considered a form of terroristic threatening.
What about you, Gary? Ban him or not?
I don't think you should ban him because, first of all, the man has committed no crime. All of this is just talk. Worse than this, it happened last year. We're just getting the news today. Okay? If you can be banned for not committing a crime, I think we should go to the Fourth Reich.
No,
okay.
Stop.
You can't ban somebody.
Guys, let Gary finish. Let him finish.
No, because it's kind of ridiculous to me. You're going to ban somebody for bad behavior. He didn't kill anybody. He didn't commit no crime. We know it's a bad act, that hanging out with thugs and all that stupidness, but he didn't commit a crime. So if you're going to take away a man's livelihood just because how you feel he should be, I think we've already lost the race. John Morant, as they say, is worth $250 million. This could be happening this week. You know what can happen next week? He can move to France and still do his thing, and he's not around these people. Okay? None of the people that he was with have committed a crime. Shouldn't you commit a crime before you get punished for something? Just asking the brothers on the panel.
Well, I mean, he committed crimes, but he wasn't charged for them, so.
Well, Gary
He also
brings up
brandished
a
a
very
weapon.
good point. We shouldn't be letting these boards do the job of what a court is supposed to do. We are supposed to have a right to a fair trial by a jury of our peers, and letting these people do suspensions and dropping this and taking away that. I mean, that's vigilantism is what it is. It's corporate vigilantism, and it is denying people their essential rights as citizens. So I'd agree with Gary on that part. I do think he needs to go to jail. I mean, if you pull a gun on a kid, you need to go to prison, period. But for the vigilantism, yeah, he's right.
Okay,
Little King, what's up? Little King, you're on mute. Go ahead.
Hey, mic check. Can you guys hear me well?
Yeah, I heard that. Now, Little King, are you there?
Yes.
Little King, I heard that you were part of the entourage that pointed the gun at the Pacers staff. Is that true?
Oh no.
Okay, never mind. Sorry, that was wrong. Sorry, I got the wrong information. Go ahead, Little King. What say you about Ja Morant?
So about Ja Morant, I want to say specifically, it's dope you guys get your inputs, but come on, Black Gen, as a black young dapper man as yourself, I don't know what's going on with the you giving him such a pass. A gentleman like this who's representing such a great brand as the NBA and displays such behavior definitely needs some punishment. You have to ban him. You have to take away the all of those promotion deals and all that. Take it all away to make an example, because if you don't, you know what will happen in this country? When merchants of deaths are locked up, you will continue to trade WNBA basketball players. Do you understand what I'm telling you?
Absolutely.
This young gentleman disrespected this country. Disrespected this country and the brand of NBA. Completely. And also when you do this and you have young individuals who, look up to such an influencer doing such things, and yes, you come back and watch. He's gonna come back and make a post like, "Yeah, I made a mistake. You guys stay away from guns," and and you think that's gonna be the end? No, a young individual will remember what he did and think that he can do the same thing, chase his dream, and carry guns. So no, he needs to be banned and stripped of his endorsements.
Now, Little King,
and it's crazy. I really like Ja Morant.
Little King, can I ask you a question?
Same.
Yes.
Is it possible that maybe me and other individuals on the panel are judging Ja Morant too much? Could it be that, hey man, 80 years ago, Joe DiMaggio was running with the mob? Hey, who knows, right? Was Babe Ruth a part? Go ahead. Huh?
I was going to say respectfully, I completely understand where you're getting at. Yet every athlete that was considered to be running with a criminal organization, fire was sent. Any athlete, they were either exposed and kicked out or whatever, but they were never praised for it.
I would like to know who's praising Ja Morant.
Exactly.
I mean, to your point, CT, how many swing songs or 1920s, 30s swing songs can you think of where they're glorifying the mafia?
Zero.
I can't think of a single one.
And I can't think of a story where the mob was pointing guns at the opposing team staff. I can't think of that either. But who knows?
And that's
the law.
Ja Morant, he's definitely being protected too. All of the court details and the details of the charges are being sealed as well. So you can't get really much information on the exact happenings. Like apparently there's a video of what happened in the mall, and that's sealed as well. So we don't really know what happened, but we're just kind of taking what the media is telling us. So I mean, but I definitely agree that he definitely needs to be disciplined. And if these things are proven true.
I just want to point out, Black Gen Z said he is benching 425 to King Shenard. King Shenard, I am benching 215. Let's see. I gotta get my weight up to it. Let's see here. Be Brave and Think says this is one of the most valuable streams on social commentary in the history of streaming. Let me see. Angry Snowman, what say you about John Morant? I don't know if you're on mute, sir. Oh, okay.
We need to Be Brave up here.
Oh, see, Angry Snowman.
He is.
Chuck
is Angry Snowman. Well, nevertheless, did you guys real quick hear about what's going on at LAPD? There's about 39, I guess, emergency. But let me bring it up on screen real quick. Just want to see what you guys think about this. LAPD, non-arrest. Let me see. I just saw it today, actually. It was in the news. Let me see. No, I saw it. Wait a minute. Basically, oh, here we go. I think you guys might find this very interesting. Los Angeles may no longer send armed officers to these police calls. Non-criminal and or non-violent, harmless, or homeless quality of life-related calls, non-criminal mental health calls, non-violent juvenile disturbances or juveniles beyond parental controls or control calls. Let's go down. Welfare checks. Oh, God. Let's see. Non-fatal vehicle accidents. Wow. Parking violations. Abandoned vehicles. Persons dumping trash. Landlord-tenant disputes. Oh, yeah. Cops are going to definitely get killed going to that. Let's see. Panhandling. Illegal vending. Illegal gaming. Fireworks. Defecating or urinating in public. Drinking in public. So what say you about that, guys?
This is why, okay, California is ahead of the curve in the United States in by 5 years, okay? What you see happening in California is going to spread to the rest of our country in probably the next 10 to 15.
And that's not a good thing either.
No, it's not.
Nope.
That's what I'm saying. We're eating ourselves from within.
Exactly.
That's what I told you before. I give it 2 generations tops. This country is going to be ripe for the taking. Imagine if San Francisco was every major country in the U.S. or every major city in the U.S.
That'd be terrifying.
You wouldn't have a country anymore.
Yeah, yeah. There's.
I get it. It does sound kind of horrible, yet only like considerably with all the situations with that lady. She mistakenly went for her taser and killed the young kid, and there's other situations where you got the one boy, I forget his name, but they pulled him over. He had mental health issues kind of, and he managed to beat both of the cops up, take their guns, shoot them, and he ran away. So I think that these type of situations where it's non-violent specifically, it kind of saves, the officer and the one.
Let me jump in real quick. Little King, somebody has some background.
Yeah.
Little King. So let me get this straight real quick. What's up, Aphrodamus? Let me get this straight. So you're in LA, you're on vacation, and a man is walking down the street, defecating in his hand and pissing on the sidewalk. He just throwing his defecation on the walls. Bow, throwing it on businesses, and he's pissing all over the sidewalk. And you mean to tell me the police should not bring a gun to that? How would the police handle a situation like that? Because that's what it said in there. It said you can't arrest people for urinating and defecating. That's what it said. I didn't make that up.
Right. Now, in a situation there where as citizens to the nation, where you have the right to brandish a firearm, is just if I'm walking down the street, I'm gonna whip my gun out and let them know, don't fling that shit this way. But as a business, you should have armed security to regulate, your affairs before police, specifically if it's non-violent.
Okay.
Yeah, so the issue with this is that the police have been completely and utterly handcuffed by the recent political movements, i.e. Black Lives Matter, Antifa, all that stuff. they have politically and socially handcuffed the police to where they can't do their jobs anymore. Everywhere they go, when they're making an arrest, somebody got to pull their camera out and be like, "What you doing to that man? Y'all better get up off of him." Like every time you see some brother getting arrested, for doing the wrong thing, you have people who are filming on the sidelines. They don't even know what happened. They talk about, "Get your hands off him, man. He ain't do nothing." Da, da, da. They have no idea what's going on. And, even some situations where people have become violent with the police for them doing their jobs. So I believe the police commissioner actually said earlier last year that, he can't protect you if you come to Los Angeles. So, he wouldn't advise you to come because the police have no power anymore. I know a lot of people like to talk about, oh, LAPD be doing this and they be doing that. They're completely handcuffed. They can't do their jobs. Gascon, the district attorney, is releasing. He got a catch and release policy. So when people get arrested, they're getting released on OR bonds, which means they're on a release on their own recognizance. And there's no accountability to the violent crimes and even the theft. You can get away with any theft that's under $900, and people can just hit a lick next of $900 or less, then go back and hit another lick, and they can't be criminally charged. This has to stop in California if they want to save their state, but in my opinion, it's already over.
Real
I don't know.
quick,
I'd have
guys.
to.
Oh, go ahead, Dio. Then I got to get to Aphrodite. He's been patiently waiting. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I actually have to disagree with a lot of the guys on the panel here. We've seen the police are not going to be able to solve these things. Even before all this political stuff, when seconds count, the police are minutes away at best. They're only going to show up to put a toe tag on if you're in a real dangerous situation. I think the best thing we can do is just get rid of the police and just get to a point where we can actually handle it ourselves.
No.
You can take them off the street for a few minutes with police before some force-appointed judge lets them loose.
Dio, hold on.
So you want to defund the police?
You make sense, and I don't say nothing. Hold on there a second. Are you crazy?
No, look, corpses don't commit crimes. We can cure them.
Brother, I don't think you've ever lived in a dangerous area. If there's no police, you know what that calls? War. Real war. People dying every single day.
Yeah, we can't keep going like we're going with the criminals in here. It's us or them. We have to get rid of them somehow, and these liberals will not let us do it as long as we coddle them. So, let it get horrible in these places. Let it get so bad that they will accept finally cleaning this up and then go in and clean it out. And
You're
if they don't
wrong,
want to clean it up,
Dio, you're wrong. Because if they let it go, you know what it does? What happens to any disease?
We already see that happen.
Spreads.
It's already spreading.
Yep, it
burning the inner cities. They're
metastasizes.
already looting everything. We cannot afford to keep going. We were running in the red before BLM, and we are running in deeper. Guys like me have already left the construction industry, manufacturing industry. Your rails are falling apart. Your infrastructure is gone, and nobody's rebuilding it because there's no point. Whatever we build, they're just going to tear down. So if we don't clean these people out, you have a choice. You can have the burners, or you can have the builders. And this is the fastest way to wake people up and make them realize that the burners are bad for them.
Dio, when you say clean them out, do you
Because
mean in
everyone's
like
moving
a
to
final
Texas.
solution type way of clean them out?
Corpses do not commit crimes, period.
Well, I kind of disagree on that. I think that ultimately, if we just get our legal system back to the way it was pre like the pandemic and all this other stuff, like things were fine. Then they started implementing this criminal justice reform, bail reform, no cash bail, all these leftist policies that pretty much handcuff prosecutors so that they can't get convictions for these crimes. So now the issue is that a lot of repeat offenders are being released onto the streets. And that's one of the main issue, because the recidivism rate, which is the rate at which people return back to prison after already catching a charge, is 85%. So the likelihood of somebody, reoffending is extremely high, but we have policies pushed by city councils in every major leftist city in America. It's the same thing happening in Atlanta, same thing happening in New Orleans, same thing happening in New York City, same thing happened in Baltimore. It's everywhere. And, you see this type of policy being pushed heavily along with CRT and all these woke leftist agendas. And that is the reason why we have this huge surge in crime, because the criminals, especially violent criminals, are not being held accountable, and they're being released on OR bonds. They're released on ankle monitors. During the pandemonium, there were actually about 60,000 inmates who were set to be released from California. That's just in California. So I mean, they're literally releasing the monsters onto the street and allowing them to have their will on the public.
And then people wonder why. People get mad and wonder why the police look like a separate arm of the military, and they've got tanks and assault. I'm sorry. Go ahead, CT.
I was gonna say I was gonna give it to Afrodamus. Has been waiting. I'm sorry about that. Afrodamus, what's up, man?
Hey, how you doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. What's going on, man?
Man.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Man, what is going on today, man? You know, I came across and I hear people over here, like the proper talking Negro that just finished talking, dragging John Moran, talking about, they should ban him and all. Like what, niggas don't have rights now? Like, what's going on? You see what I'm saying? We don't know what happened. The media came up with it. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, here's what happened. That 17-year-old should have never, called him a bitch. And how do I know this? Moran put the gun in the nigger's mouth. Anytime you call a Negro bitch, that's what happens. He's promoting nigger culture. And you guys are sitting over here, being hypocritical, talking about this man should be banned. Do you know what white folks were doing in the NBA? Do you guys have any idea? Do you know who Babe Ruth is?
Go ahead.
Do you guys know who Babe Ruth is?
Yeah, baseball player. Go ahead.
Babe Ruth.
The fat white player. You guys remember him?
Yeah, 717 home runs.
Okay, yeah. I'm not even gonna get in his story. How much is John Morant worth?
I mean, he got a deal for $250 million.
That means he's a great player, right?
Yeah,
of course.
Hardworking. So for one incident, this 17-year-old should have never disrespected him. We live in a nigger culture now, and people like Moran should be held. Respect must be promoted. I get it. He didn't shoot him. You guys are acting like he shot somebody.
Yeah,
and
but
wait, let me finish. I've allowed you speak.
Of course.
Like Moran, like all of a sudden you guys are talking about, he should be banned. We don't know what happened. These white folks could be, coming up with stuff. You remember, you guys, they were promoting nigger culture. You guys remember this? Now, all of a sudden, they want to go against Moran. So, you guys are up here throwing him under the bus. I was like, damn, man, what's going on? I felt like I was Moran's lawyer. I was like, I got to come up here and defend this brother. You see? Like, come on, man, that's not right. You guys need to speak the truth. They promoted nigger culture and he acted like a nigger. Let's just wait and see what happened. But niggas have right too. I hope you guys know this. I'll wait.
Yo, what's good, BGZM News 17 family? I'm at the corner of Jesse Jackson and Marcus Garvey, and I got some bad news for you. As you can see, I lost my job. I'm out here living in cardboard boxes outside of boarded up vacant homes. YouTube said I'm done getting money out here in these streets. They even took my funky ass suit. So anything right now would help. So go ahead and hit that Cash App, hit that PayPal, hit that GoFundMe. Hell, cop the merch. Or if you want to make the long-term commitment to the Jinquavius Jackson Fund, join the Patreon so that I can continue to put out top-notch content each and every day. Also, check out the Rumble, where there is absolutely no censorship. Link in the description box below.
Hey, yo, ain't that nigga Jinquavius? Yo, I recognize.
No, that's not me no more.
Hey, yo, run your pop.
Y'all kill me with this shit.
Do the opposite of Antonio Brown and take all
What
of your
more
shit
do
off.
you want from me?
Respond to what you're
Well, I
saying.
think I'm the most nigga up here. So hold on, let me answer this real quick. Nah, you ain't got a right to pull a gun and stick it in somebody's mouth because some words that came out of it offended you.
Look,
that don't give nobody no right.
Look,
I don't give how black you are or how white you are.
Look, what? He didn't have soap, so he
If that was my
gun.
kid, I would kill him. I would kill him.
You see how violent you are? You are such a violent person. He didn't kill that person.
No, it's from a reaction.
Look, just relax. Why are you being violent? Look at you threatening John Moran's life. You see? He only put a gun in his mouth. He didn't pull the trigger. This is what they said. We don't even know for sure. But he should have never called him a bitch. That's all I know. How you going to be 17 calling a grown man that?
Hold on, let me ask you something, Afrodamus.
Come on, man.
Afrodamus, have you ever played a sport?
Yes.
Have you ever heard of trash talking?
Yes.
Okay, so in sports you trash talk, you might say some things that you don't necessarily mean, but it's just a part of the game, it's a part of the sport. It's for the
I get it. Hold on. Look, you can never say anything about my mama though. You see what I'm saying? I love my mama. You can disrespect my mama because if you do, we're gonna have problems. You know? So straight up. I'm just letting you know.
Afrodamus, I'll tell you something. You couldn't survive in the 70s and the 80s because your mama jokes was the most popular things back in the day.
Right.
Now today you're ready to go kill somebody over saying your mama. That's crazy.
Look, I love my mama. I love my mama. I just want to make that clear. You see what I'm saying? So here's the thing. You can talk all your trash, but you can't cross that line. You see what I'm saying? And, calling this man is worth 250 million. You work at Burger King, you want to call this man bitch. Can this nigga have some respect? Come on, guys. When who is going to foster this respect? We're talking about, do you guys remember we were talking about degeneracy? How the young people don't respect the grown-ups anymore? You guys remember this? Remember when you're on the basketball court, the people that you are older than, they show respect, especially he's in the NBA. So this kid, let's just say, he crossed the line. We would, let them sit at the table. He apologized to Morant and, we'll let Morant know, look, you overreacted. Next time, don't do this. Learn from this and move on. Stop hanging out with these people.
Let me put this in there though. I got a little bit more context to this story. So Ja Morant, he actually has a mentoring program. So that's the whole reason why this kid was at his house anyway, because he mentors young athletes. And this guy who he got in a dispute with in this basketball game, this guy is like he's like a top recruited athlete coming out of Memphis. Yeah, so he's a highly recruited athlete in that area. Hold on. No, it does matter because
he's
Ja
human.
Morant,
He's human.
Because Ja Morant is supposed to be a mentor. Ja Morant's a mentor, and he's supposed to set the standard. He's supposed to set an example for these younger men. He's supposed to.
Do they have fathers? Their fathers should set the example. John Morant is there to play basketball and entertain. He's nobody's role. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the likelihood of him actually having a father in the home is only 25%.
He's 22. He's 22.
Either way, he needs to set a positive example. He's been through college. He's a grown man. You don't react to a child like that. I mean, if you put your hands on a child like that, what he did, you're gonna get charges for endangering a minor, bro.
No,
so
he's 17.
When you're grown, 17. You can't fight children.
No, sir. Let me tell you. When I was 17, let me tell you.
This is not when you were 17, Afrodamus.
Hold on, let me finish. Look, when I was 17, right? Like, do you know? Like, I fought two grown men. I whooped their ass, and I was 17. A 17-year-old can be dangerous. You see what I'm saying? Like, I was one of those, dangerous 17-year-old. I had hands on me and I had no problem. If you cross me, I have no problem, laying it on you. So you want to tell me 17-year-olds don't take off on people? Come on, guys. And by the way, 17, between the, ages 17, 18, all the way to 25, let me tell you, mentally they're in the same, level, because your prefrontal cortex doesn't fully mature until you're 25 years old. Just FYI.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
John Morant has substantially way more experience in life than this young man does.
No,
he also has
doesn't.
a good example at home.
Actually,
he does.
Girls, not men. Every day your shit is developing. As long as you know how to be able to think straight. As a superstar, you should be able to think straight, especially if you already got issues where your father is coming down at your games and causing issues with people. You should already be trying to keep your name clear. When your friends are riding around with lasers and pointing them against your opponents, you should already try to keep your name clear. Specifically when this young kid is looking up to you. So what? He's probably going to be the next prospect in a couple of years, and your name is probably might fall to the shadows. But it doesn't matter.
And also, wait, another thing today, you guys were here, picking on the black mothers, black queens. I was like, what is going on? The black queens didn't do anything wrong. Why are you guys blaming the black queens?
Oh,
what
I have experience with one.
Are we going back to this conversation?
No, but I just want to
I have
make sure.
experience with one today. I can tell y'all about it.
I'd rather not rock the biggins. Thank you.
Look, I married a black queen before, so none of you have the experience about.
Are you a king? Yeah? Hold on there, Afrodamus. What makes these women black queens?
Hold on, because in our black culture here in America, this is allowed. We can literally practice this. So
that means we're ignorant because we forgot what a queen was.
No. Look, we used to be kings in Africa.
When was this? Tell me when this was.
Look, I don't remember the years, but just go along.
You're a joker. Stop talking lies. The majority of black people in Africa were slaves to the black king. And there was not 100 black kings. There was one.
Gary, let me ask you this. Gary, what are you gaining from trying to beat, this idea down? You're trying to take down the black woman and the black idea of our royalty. What is going on?
No,
no. I'm not trying. Hold on there, Black Jen. I'm not trying to beat down something.
Go ahead.
I'm trying for people to be in reality. First of all, a king owns a kingdom and has subjects. Ain't no black woman in America own no kingdom. Ain't no black woman in Africa own no kingdom, and they ain't got no subject. So let's go with the definition of what the word means first.
Gary, let me ask you this, right?
You got to remember, Gary's gay.
Gary, let me put it this way. Like you say in Africa, I have, lots of land there. I'm building the land. If I take a couple of black women with me, because this is my kingdom, Afrodamusville, are you telling me I don't have the right to call them queens and they call me king?
You mean
you can call them whatever you want, but we know what a king and a queen is. So let's stop living in. Let's finish. Hold on a second, because the first word you said was if. If is not is. Stop living on if. Is what it is. There is no black king or no black queen. Okay, you have black men and black women. These false titles that you put on yourselves is nothing.
But it's a feeling. It's a feeling. Does that matter?
Feeling is touch. Stop going on. Feelings in your head. That's a mental problem. Understand? Because it's like people lost what feelings mean. Feelings is touch, not what you think in your head.
Look, the black women are strong. If it wasn't for the black
okay, what makes black women strong? I hate that term. What makes them strong?
Can I finish? Can I finish? If you look at it in America,
two old gay guys.
Hold on. LeBron James's mom was a single mother. He's one of the greatest basketball players.
Black queens arguing
am I lying?
Am I lying, girl?
Okay, first of all, LeBron James, if you're talking about LeBron James' mother, hold on, you just made a comment about LeBron James' mother. Shut up, 777. Okay, you made a comment about LeBron's mother LeBron's mother was screwing one of her son's teammates.
Yep.
Is that what we call a black queen?
Talk about stats in a minute.
They were in law. Look, LeBron was already
LeBron James women.
Hold on.
Hey, chaotic! You can't allow this goof to keep doing
this.
You
can't allow this man up here. I pay you $12 every 2 weeks. In Canadian money.
Oh God!
Why are you so obsessed with everybody's sexuality? Go to a club, get laid. Okay?
Are you a paid troll there, brother?
This white man.
I got to wonder that. Hey, 777, are you paid to do this?
You have no right to be on this panel. You've never even talked to a black person in real life, sir.
Who?
Diogenes is a racist.
You can't even pronounce it. You got to read some more.
Degenerate. That's what your name is. Degenerate white boy.
All right. I think I better get some sleep.
Go ahead. Get some sleep. Get out of here, you
don't really
punk.
like this. It's okay. Just
Get out of here, you punk.
In fact,
Punk.
I want to clear something. Gary said something that blacks were slaves in Africa. Because we had great empires. We had Ghana Empire.
Throw that
Mali
spear
Empire,
at me.
Songhai Empire.
Hit me with that spear, Aphrodite.
So look, blacks, don't let anyone lie to you here, telling you, you were never kings and queens. Don't let them lie to you. I'm here. I'm straight from Africa.
Go ahead, CT.
Guys, hold on for 1 second. Give me a second. Hello?
Hello, is this CT?
Yes, who is this?
This is Mother Russia, Vladimir Putin.
Okay, all right. Let's go.
I call in Mother Russia. Ancient proverbs say, "He who live in Siberia in igloo must not throw snowball." Because of this, I offer political asylum to Scott Adams in our newly acquired land in the Ukraine. He says he does not want to live with the likes of CT and his band of merry brothers. I invite him over to the land of snow cones in ICBMs.
Vladimir Putin, I rock with you. And you have some of the best inaugurations I've seen on TV. Can you still hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. In Mother Russia.
No, just hear me out.
Elon Musk does not dictate whether we have satellite. The first satellite in space.
Sir, can you hear me?
Yes, the first satellite in space.
You are aware.
Sputnik.
You are aware that my government has now labeled you a war criminal.
Very rich coming from America. President Bush killed 10 million Iraqis. President Obama, your brother, he fights in Afghanistan.
Why is he my brother, sir?
The apple does not fall far from the tree. You are from Kenya, like Obama, yes?
No, I'm from America.
He spent 20 years in Afghanistan, right along close to our border. We say nothing. Now we take back a land that is ours. Now you have something to say. Mother Russia, the giant bear.
Are you trying to bring back the Soviet Union?
You mess with the bear, you get the bear claw. Ancient Russian proverb. Mother Russia.
Let's get you the fuck up out of here. What's up, guys?
Thanks, Barney.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that was lit.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Aphrodite. You get the floor.
Amazing. But yeah, I was saying, like I was saying, all this, blaming the black woman, and I got that, like I said, the proper talking Negro that was up here. Oh, there he is, Gen Z, whatever his name is.
Okay,
he's got that mustache, like he's over here telling the police.
Cam up. Cam up.
Sir.
I look way better than you.
So now we're gonna go. You want to go for the looks?
I mean, that's
Trust
what you
me.
just did, right?
Sir. You see that picture right there? That's me exactly. That's my real beard.
There's no picture.
That's me.
Bruh.
My emoji. That's me. So
You have no picture.
Look, I'm a real man. I do not
Africa's
talk about
mud.
appearance. Okay. And is that
Because you don't got no
grandson-
ground to stand on.
Oh, everyone knows what I look like. Trust me, sir.
Okay, then why did you bring up a mustache if you don't talk about appearance?
What did you say his mustache looked like again? That he was telling the police?
Yeah.
It is
That's
kind
a
of a
mustache
mustache.
of a man that tells the police something. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is nobody was bashing or blaming. I made the point that we weren't blaming the women. We were presenting the data and, ascertaining as to why we actually had the issues that we have in the Black community. Now, if you get an emotional response from the data, that is on you, okay?
Who wrote the data? Who came up with the data? Is it Black people or white people?
Yeah, I'm with Afrodamus.
It's a mixture. It's a mixture of multiple different people.
No, who came up with the data?
Some of the data is collected by white people. Some of the data is collected by Black people. Have you ever done the census? They do the census every 10 years. The last peace, bro. The last person who came to my house and asked me, "Do you live alone?" Whatever, who's in your household? What the last person who came to do the U.S. census into my house was a Black woman.
Are we
So
just gonna
you're
keep
asking who does the
arguing
data? Who
back
does the
and
data?
forth? Is that what
And
we've turned into now?
They hire
Is this
multiple
what we are
different
now? Just a bunch of
ethnicities.
men arguing with each other.
It's not an argument; it's a debate,
What's the
brother.
percentage on that one, Black Jen? Why are we arguing constantly on this
Because
goddamn site all day?
It's not about arguing. It's not about arguing. It's about having a debate because we care about these issues. So we want to find a solution.
The Africans, sir.
Okay, what about the men that run away?
He ain't gonna debate you on anything.
What about the men that run away?
Okay, okay. What about the men that run away? Yes, they're an issue. Is that what you wanted?
Why didn't you mention them?
We did, and we also mentioned the women who practice parental alienation, so that the fathers cannot be real fathers in their life. So we talked about both sides.
Did you say that part?
Yeah, we did. You must not have been listening.
Okay, I'm with you now. Okay, now we meet. I thought you were just going after our Black queen. So, I can't let that happen.
I mean, like I said, I presented the data. If you have a emotional reaction to the data, then that's on you. That's something that you need to check. You can go into, who's gathering the data, this, that, and third, and I can give you the answer. You're still not going to give a darn about what I'm saying, okay? You just want your own narrative spun. And my point is, we're all up here, we're talking about these issues because we're trying to look for solutions.
So why do you want John Moran banned?
I didn't say I wanted him banned. I actually was a little softer, and I said that he needs to remove everybody who is around him who's not about basketball and put people who are about 100% basketball in his life. And I actually said that I would rather that than them, ban him or anything. But he does need to be disciplined.
But don't you think the white people are being hypocrites? They promote this, and now they want to punish him.
So
what do you say
white
to that?
people promote what? Him to be a superstar? I think his talent did that.
Sir, people were taking knees. The white people were making Black people take knees. See, here's the thing. Here's what I suspect about.
Are you going 400 years? You going talking about the 400 years of systematic oppression? Is that what you're going to?
Don't do the knees
allow
thing.
me. No, I'm talking about today.
Don't do the kneeling stuff.
I'm talking about. Look at how these white people. Do you see, you know who Kyrie Irving is? I'm sure you know. Did you see what they did to him for standing up for his own right? Doesn't that tell you these people are hypocrites?
I agree. That was wrong.
So that's why when they promote nigger culture and it happened, you should support the person that is promoting it.
Hold on, but how did they promote the culture. Like,
have you not been listening to Joe Biden?
No. That's enough of this shit.
Have you not been
That's
listening
enough.
to the president?
No, that's enough of this madness now. No, that's enough.
777, just calm
No,
down.
stop.
Allow me.
No. You're pulling some crazy racist banter now. You're talking about kneeling, Kyrie.
Look, I mean, Kaepernick was the first guy to take the knee, right? So you're talking about they made us kneel, and it's just like Kaepernick literally took a knee, and so I'm trying to figure out.
Is Kaepernick black?
He's mixed race.
Is that?
No, I'm asking, is he black?
I mean, a lot of people would consider him black. Yes.
Have you ever seen his father?
His father is an adopted father. He
no,
went to an adopted family.
Okay, let me tell you who his
biological father, I'm sure, is.
Let me tell you. No. Kaepernick's father is a goat herder in the Middle East. I'm just telling you right now. He used to live here in the States back in the days. He went back, started a goat herding business back in his country in the Middle East. Just take you said the father was adopted. Remember what they told you? They said the father is from Ivory Coast, Ghana, and all that.
Well, the father that raised him is what I thought you were referring to.
No. That raised him is a white man.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
That's a white man. No, I'm talking about his biological father.
Yeah, I know.
That's who I'm talking about.
Hey, Afrodamus. Hey, can you come back real quick? Your mic is messing up a little bit, okay?
Yeah, it should.
Yeah, there's something wrong with your mic.
Hey, when Afrodamus first started talking, he prefaced his comments with saying that this was nigga culture, what they're perpetuating. So what he was saying that John Morant did make sense if the premise is nigga culture.
Hey, you boys gotta watch your mouth when you're talking to me, boy.
Like,
stop talking like that, boy.
I love it.
Only thing I think
you're gonna let me finish talking, boy. You're not gonna talk over me, boy. Hey, one of y'all mamas better make me some lemonade. All right, or I'm gonna get real upset now.
Okay,
somebody
guys,
tell your mama to make me some juice, boy.
Sir, real quick, let Bob get in. I'm sorry. This might be risky. What's up, man? You were saying something?
Hey, Bob, go fuck yourself. Good night now.
Chaotic, I don't know how you do it sometimes.
Bob, do you want me to just go ahead and just implement that? I could green light it anytime you want, man. Because
it's fine. It's fine. No, let him do it, man.
You still have a credit, so yeah.
I appreciate it. No, you're good. You're good. This might be risky with saying something.
Go ahead.
Bob was good. How you? Everything good?
Very well, sir. Thank you. How are you?
No doubt. I'm regular. Black Jen, the only thing though, there's some shit that you don't say while you trash talking. So I don't know what part of the country you from, but the part of the country I'm from, SMD will get you punched in your mouth, if y'all know what that acronym stands for.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's
yeah. I get it.
Say that though. You know what I'm saying? Like that in a pickup game is going too far.
Punched in your mouth, fine. I'm cool if you scrap it out on the court. Guess what they always used to tell us? Leave it on the court. Leave it on the field. Leave it on the court. Leave it on the field. Guess what he did not do? He didn't leave it on the court. He went to his house, grabbed a firearm, and put it in this young man's mouth. Now, look, I'm all for to scrap it out. Heck yeah. You know, let the best man win. Leave it on the court. What happens on the court stays on the court.
Okay, that's fair. That sounds different from your initial point, but you put more context around it. From what I heard, I might have got on late. Feel me?
Yeah.
But you know, a 17-year-old. I mean, in the Bronx, 16-year-old killed somebody over cold fries. Like you're acting like these 17-year-old is that the construct of adolescence that he might be a kid because he's not 18, but a 17-year-old can do that. So I don't know. I don't know. I think he went too far, but I'm not surprised.
No. I agree, though. These kids are very violent, and they have the ability to inflict massive harm on an individual. What I'm saying is he didn't have to do that, and he admitted to throwing the first punch, and it was over a check ball. The guy checked it up. It slipped through his hands, hit him in the face. Now he wanted to square up. So I mean, we can speculate as to what was said, what words were exchanged. We don't know, but I totally grant that hey, there's some words or phrases that you say to somebody, that like the SMD or you
guys never killed over cold fries before. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
What's the name of the person you guys are talking about, right quick? Black Gen Z mindset.
John Morant, point guard for the Memphis Grizzlies.
I know.
Yeah, so I mean, I definitely can acknowledge that, but at the end of the day, you just don't do that to a minor, especially you're a grown man. You have to take the high ground.
Yeah, I think him being in a mentorship position is full. He's on 22 years old, John Morant.
Yeah.
Usually, what happens is they take the popular person or the star. They use them to get kids to come in, but then they have other coaches to actually mentor. Because he not in a position mentally to be a mentor in himself. You know what I mean? So I feel like this whole situation is just flawed. But he want to be a gangster, right?
Yeah,
everybody
and that's his
wanted
problem.
to be.
He's perpetuating that.
Yeah,
this might be risky. If you were the NBA commissioner, would you just outright just ban him?
No, I had to process it more because I think you ban him and then what happens, right? He's still a gangster. He's still got 1 million followers on Instagram, and then he does what with his free time?
Well, he ends up in jail, and
he goes back to those dudes who led him astray.
He needs to be in jail. That's where he should be.
Yeah, he needs some good dudes in his corner that he'll actually listen to, that he respects, take personal accountability for what he's done, and he needs to do a total 180. Because I mean, at this rate, I'm not even concerned about his NBA career. I'm concerned about his safety.
Yeah,
it's Memphis we're talking about, and if he's cooking up beef, things can get sticky real quick, and it's not hard for them, them hood dudes in Memphis to figure out where he stay. Especially if he bringing in 17, 16-year-old ballers to hoop with him during his free time.
Yeah.
Does anybody on the panel remember who Jason Williams is? Anybody remember Jason Williams?
I mean, he shot his driver.
Yeah.
Okay, so common sense would tell you. Now, John Morant, he makes over $100 million. Why do you not have security? If it went to that extent, a smart man would have, with that type of resources, would have security, so you don't have to pull a gun at all. It doesn't matter how old the person is that he pulled the gun on. The fact that he actually did it shows an extreme lack of awareness, because what if that firearm goes off accidentally? You're going to jail for the rest of your life. You're getting sued. You lose everything, as we saw with Jason Williams. So that's a lack of common sense.
Yeah, by the way, the family is suing for $20 million.
Well, Jason Williams was trash in basketball too, so.
Now, he had a $100 million contract. He had a $100 million contract when he was playing also. I mean, he wasn't a scorer, but he played good defense and he could rebound well.
I mean, any one of us could play good defense and rebound for $100 million.
But none of us are 6'10".
Yeah,
I'd get at least 5 rebounds a game for $100 million.
Yeah, so I mean, with this guy, he's been in trouble multiple times. He got into it with Shannon Sharp. This is another case of a guy trying to pretend like he's somebody that he's not, to maintain some type of credibility or value with people who he shouldn't even be thinking about at this point in his life. He has his father around, so that makes this even more ridiculous.
But Flex, his father's a cornball. You see how he be acting at the games. He's not a prime example of how men should conduct themselves. You feel me? And then clout is more important to people than life. You see all these YouTubers that be going in the wrong neighborhood, and a couple of them got killed. God bless the dead in LA, going through the wrong neighborhoods, making fun of the Crips and Bloods and all that. But clout is worth more. The likes are worth more than life and that money, even, because they think that money is never gonna go away. I mean, I don't know. This shit is just. I'm not surprised. That's all I'm saying.
All right, is anyone really surprised that any NBA player who's black gets in trouble, though?
That's a good point.
I would be, at some, Bob, I would be surprised.
Generally speaking.
Generally speaking, no.
I mean, it's a shame that, he's willing to throw away his future over something so petty. Like, it's ridiculous.
I think black children should play tennis.
Yeah, I agree.
This doesn't happen on the tennis courts. This doesn't happen playing squash.
Chess?
No.
Baseball, chess.
Chess is good.
I think basketball and football is a very dangerous sport. A lot of bravado there. Creates a lot of animosity.
Negro sports. Yeah, Negro sports.
If that's the term you want to use.
Very quick, you hear hockey players fight, but you never hear about hockey players taking it outside.
Yeah. Oh, that is true. That's a great point.
There's been a couple. One was accused of rape.
No, but he's saying like taking the fight outside and shooting up the arena.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
pointing a submachine gun with a laser attachment at the opposing team's bus. You don't see that.
I think it's time to cancel basketball.
He did that, Black G?
No, that was his entourage.
I mean, his entourage did. Yeah, his entourage did.
These guys, man, they keep bad company. But
that's why I argue that maybe he should be banned, because basketball, like, you got to think about how much money one NBA game brings in. What, 3 or 4 million? Just in ticket sales alone. But think about the food sales, all that. You're talking about
the money's the advertising.
Hey, you're talking about $10 million per game, and then you got to think about parking. The restaurants around are affected. Yeah. Eventually, if Negroes start tearing up the NBA, white people ain't gonna want to go to those games.
And their health.
Games. Go ahead.
Right, the health of the players is the most valuable thing. What happens when a player gets hurt? He doesn't get, he only gets the guaranteed money, but he don't get the full contract. So if you're endangering the health of a franchise, I mean, that's a big deal. Especially, like, imagine if that gun would have went off and they got an attachment on it, which allows it to be a machine gun, and they let off like 7 rounds when they only pulled the trigger one time.
Yeah,
I mean, you hurt 3 people. I mean, you're costing them millions.
Can we figure out who owns these 2 basketball teams real quick? That's a question I have. Real quick. I mean, I want to know who owns these 2 teams.
Why?
I think we should cancel. CT, you should do a show. Should we cancel the NBA?
Herb Simon is the owner of the Pacers.
Who's Simon?
But Black
Herb.
This might be risky in Black G. You guys still watch basketball?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Basketball?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything these players could do that could make the consumer stop?
No.
Yeah. So they're
and just on that point of Black G, also NBA contracts are guaranteed. So that's notice NBA players stay hurt longer because their money's guaranteed. In the NFL, you got incentives, so you notice they come back a little sooner.
Yeah.
But I mean, that shit don't matter. You forget about it. The news cycle's so fast, right? By the time it happens, something else happened, then something else happened, and then it's Sunday, then the game comes on.
I don't think I don't think people see the nuclear explosion that I see. I've seen it, man. Negroes destroy neighborhoods and cities and towns. All it takes is for something to happen at one of those NBA games. White people stop coming. Then it's a matriculation effect. People ain't driving down there, so people ain't paying for gas. People aren't going to those restaurants, so people can't work down there. Then places downtown in these areas will be abandoned. All because you could have just banned this guy right now and set an example.
Yeah, I mean, Memphis is bad. Memphis is really bad, and anything can happen for sure.
Yep.
It's a bad
time. Maybe they would rather people watch the game from home and not go to the stadium.
But that's what I'm saying.
It make more money.
But ticket sales, you make money on ticket sales.
You need people in these downtown areas to drive in an economy. You do. When LeBron was in Cleveland, oh my God, nightlife was the best, because people after the games, or people were just coming down there just to be a part of it. Like, oh, okay, the game is going on. Let me go to the bar. I'm telling you, man, you need a downtown life.
Who's the bar owned by, though? The bar is owned by the small business owner.
It doesn't matter who the bar is owned by.
It does matter who things are.
Why, bro? How is that even relevant to the conversation?
Because the people that own these teams have enough money to throw away. Okay,
bro,
the bar does not.
They don't.
So they can allow these players to go around and do all this stupid stuff and make people not want to go to the games, because people are still going to watch them. They're still going to watch the game.
So what's your point?
My point is that there's some sort of something happening behind the scenes if this man's allowed to run around like he's allowed to. There's something else going on.
What's happening is he has a $250 million deal, and they're trying not to lose their investment. If something happens to him, they lose the money that they guaranteed him in the contract.
Yeah. So what? They're going to let him get away with murder?
I'm sorry.
I mean, they're not going to let him get away with it, but they're trying to stop him from doing something stupid. I'm sure of it. They're trying to get his head on the right path.
I could almost see a prosecutor. If he actually stuck a gun in someone's mouth, I could see a prosecutor trumping that up to attempted murder. It's not only just assault; it's assault with a deadly weapon, which is a felony in every state.
The family they came out with the story, and they're suing. They're suing civilly, so they're trying to get $20 million. I don't think they're filing criminal charges on that one.
No,
but I think he might be held liable criminally for what happened in that Foot Locker. Or the mall or whatever.
Pointing a weapon at someone is only a misdemeanor. It's not a felony.
Did you guys hear what Michael Irvin did back in the day?
Unless you discharge the firearm.
What did Michael Irvin do, Bob?
You hear about this? I found out about it. He stabbed some guy in the neck, and Jerry Jones got him out. It was a very quiet story. But I say all that to say the extent by which an owner may go to protect a player that's bringing him a lot of money.
Yeah,
that's
a no-brainer.
Yeah, but
same thing with Ray Lewis.
Right, but when do the owners realize that these players can also be the detriment of an entire organization?
But Bob's
point, not going to happen. There's too many people.
When he does something that he can't get out of, that's when. Because I mean, they're standing by Brandon Miller, Alabama's head coach. He said, "Hey, things happen. Boom, boom, bap. Da 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 da. He's a kid. Whatever. Da da da. Okay, boom. Then he drops 41 points. So." I mean, if they think that he can get them a championship, then they're standing 10 toes with him. There was also something when Georgia played Alabama this year. They had a player who assaulted this girl who ran on the field and whatnot, and no disciplinary charges. I mean, he's good to go. I mean, he did get arrested, but they got him off. He wasn't suspended for the game, or he played the next game. Everything was good, but. They are going to protect the players. I do agree. They're going to stand by the players.
After the melee in the Palace, what were the ticket sales like 10 games after that? I would love to know that.
I bet it went up.
I think it went up. I think it went up.
You think it went up?
Maybe back then it didn't, but in this day and age, it would go up.
Yo, see,
that was 20 years ago almost.
Yeah.
Talent trumps behavior, even with high school kids. Coaches make sure their homework gets done. They make sure they can play. It does not matter.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. Randy Gregory, remember him? He played for the Cowboys. Now he's a mixed martial artist. Who's a running back that played for Oregon, and he punched somebody in the face at Oregon, and then he played for the Bucks, won a championship. Played for the Patriots, won a champ because you can play ball.
Yeah,
they don't care about them as human beings. They ain't not trying to make them better. They just hope they can be on the field.
What is interesting is Michael Vick, and I love dogs. He did something to dogs, and that was a politically wrong animal to attack.
Yeah,
and it seems like that caused more problems than what some of these guys do.
Yeah.
Guys, I'll be back in the morning. I got to get the hell up out of here. Man.
All right, fuck you, CT. Go fuck yourself.
See you, CT, man.
All right,
great show.
Yep.
Hey, peace.
All right, guys. Great conversation.
Gang violence and other kind of violence. So it is what it is.